How's it going, boys? What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Yo, yo, yo. Howdy doody. You're late? Yeah, I'm 4 minutes late. What's your excuse? I got hit in the head really hard, so I forgot. It's not bad. How's that? Is that like we buying that one? It's a decent excuse. It's true. It's true. Well, it's not true that I forgot, but it's true that I got hit in the head hard. L sing Last Christmas. What the heck? Show us the wound. That's it. You see that bruise? Right there. Yeah, it's my battle wound. That's my battle scar. Yep. Yep. Where's the rest of it? Oh, where's your slapboxing fight that aired online where you got hit in the face by a Welshman? Oh, it doesn't exist? Then shut up. Oh, chat, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. Holy shit, what a week we've had. How you guys doing? Sorry, I haven't talked to you. I haven't sat down in this chair in a while to shoot the shit. Crazy things been happening. What'd you guys think about the stream yesterday? Andrea should have won. Actually, just uploaded a Mogul mail about that. A little bit late. Very fun. Pre-recorded. It was not pre-recorded. I was worried it would feel too professional, too Hollywood, too Food Network-y, but I think it had a nice mixture, and it still felt like a fun stream to watch. Or at least that's the hope. Because like sometimes shit just looks nice, but it's not fun to watch. But I think that was a good mixture. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm tooting my own horn. Music Guy was a W. What am I doing it again? That was like a test run. I don't have any dates planned. Probably sometime next year. I'll probably try to do like 6 to 8 episodes next year, depending. Dude, the sushi chef was funny as hell. Yeah, he was fucking great. The sushi chef was great. Godsend. Also, Connor Dog voice actor man was a godsend. Everything was great. The swearing made it less professional, which is good. All right, note to self, swear more often. Noted. Notice me, senpai. Ludwig becoming a try guy? Well, hopefully not. You know, maybe I'll go for 3 of the 4 try guys, you know? I'm cool with that. You tell me I'm becoming Keith, that's all right. You know, it depends which try guy. Lies not even uploaded yet. No, the Mogul mail's uploaded. Don't call me out like you know where I've been. Don't shit in my shoes till you've walked in them. First of all, let me tag the entirety of my Discord. Let them know I'm live on youtube.com/LotoGogger/live. I'm back from everything. Holy shit. Sorry, there haven't been many streams since the chess boxing. But honestly, just busy. We had the Monday. We had the yard. And then I just hung out with Cutie, made some dinner. Tuesday, we had I did the stream with Valkyrie, Hassan, Myung. And then Wednesday, what happened Wednesday? Mogul Mail's not up. Are you guys fucking with me or are you fucking with me? The Mogul Mail's up. It just doesn't show up when you go to Mogul Mail because it's outdated. It'll only show up if it's in your feed box, in your box feed. Like this. If you're a fake fan, it doesn't show up for you. That's actually the test. Anyway, holy shit, chat. We did the chess boxing event. There's a new button video. Okay. I just did like one of the coolest live events I've ever conceived. And you want me to watch a button video? Like, can we not? Is that all I'm good for? Come on. Yeah, we'll watch it later. Bitrate's low? No, it's not. Bitrate's at 8,000. So, why are you lying to me is the better question. City, it's so nice. Gulagoon. Mr. Beast tweeted, "Get on it, fool." What'd he tweet? Unless he tweeted like, "Hey, I need somebody with a chest hole." Mr. Beast. Mr. Bean. I'm now available in Fortnite item shop, and the map is up if you want to practice for the $1 million tournament. Wow, I don't want to. Is that it? Oh my god. Yo, he replied to my arch nemesis. Oh wait, no, this is not my top. This is not my nemesis. Never mind. I thought that was my arch nemesis. I think my arch nemesis is called Mr. Top 5, not Top 5 Gaming. Yeah, this guy's my arch nemesis.
There's people calling.
If you don't know, I went to a high school with a graduating class of about 197 people. It was a very small high school. In fact, it was only that big because it was 2 towns combined into one. And I was like a theater kid. I was never that excellent at like the sports that I did. I was very average. But the one thing that I have almost over everybody that I went to high school with is that I am a more successful YouTuber than everyone. Almost everyone. With the sole exception of Mr. Top 5, who's the only person who also went to my high school who is a bigger YouTuber than me, who has more subscribers than me, 4.41 million, where I'm sitting at like 3.8 something million. So anyway, subscribe, please, to help me beat Mr. Top 5. So I'm the biggest YouTuber who went to my high school. Don't just say L. Don't just say L. Just subscribe. Like, you can help me. Don't just say L and move on with your day like that was helpful. It's not helpful. It's not helpful when you're doing that. When you're doing that to me. Anyway. Anyway, chatters, chatties. How's everybody doing today? Fucking insane week. Insane week. We had the Chessboxing Championship. We beat our personal best, most views ever. Say goodbye, Dweem, because we now have the new throne held by the Chessboxing Championship. Dream, step aside, buddy. Unless you're going to show your dick and balls, then you're not going to beat me, you know? And if you do, let me know, because I'll tune in for that. Probably get a lot of views, so. Am I going to do another chess boxing event? I don't know. I'm undecided. I genuinely am undecided at the moment. Like, I think it would be cool. Because what was the biggest problem with this chess boxing event? Like, if we step back and we had to pick what the biggest problem with this chess boxing event was, I think it's pretty safe to say that nobody knew what chess boxing was going into it. Like, I explained several times what it was. I went over it for many, many weeks, many, many videos, but not enough people knew what chess boxing was. And so if we do it again next year, I can just be like, oh, watch this. And they'll be like, oh, okay. As opposed to being like, well, it's like this sport that's like, so it's like 30 years old and this French guy made it because he saw it in a comic. And like, so like there's a video I saw on YouTube and it's like, you play chess and then you switch to boxing and you just keep switching until you win by checkmate or knockout. But that's not always how it works, because also there's like TKOs and like stalemates. But, you know, it's easier. It's easier to explain. So that's why I think that's the only reason why I feel like it would be good to run another, because we didn't run it at its peak. What about if it was just boxing? I don't care to do that. I have zero interest. Like, I understand that boxing is the exciting part for a lot of people because they like watching people get punched, but I personally would rather do something that I think is cool, And I don't think a regular boxing event is, I think it's played out. I don't think we need another influencer boxing event. And I know this is kind of that, but I do think the chess boxing novelty is fucking fun. I think it's cool, and I like it, and I'm not going to get rid of it. There's more smash boxing. I don't know about the smash boxing. We'll see. I think the smash boxing was cool, but it might just be better to separate them. So, like, maybe do smash boxing at a smash event. You know what I mean? Instead of, like, trying to combine them. You know? Like, imagine I do, like, Socon and it has, like, a smash boxing, like, exhibition match. That's probably a little more in line with, I think, what the audiences would want. Check out Sushi Dragon's tweet. What's Sushi Dragon's tweet? Sushi Dragon. How do I find Sushi Dragon's Twitter? The Sushi Dragon. Holy shucks. Okay, wait, hold up. Yo, Ludwig, let me do a show for your event next time. Can turn anything into a concert. Here's what I did for your chess boxing stream, all in real time. Not a single thing added in Premiere After Effects. Songs were random from chat, by the way. Give me a chance, baby. How? How? I don't get it. I watched Valkyrie slowly add a webcam over a video, and it took her about 35 minutes. How do you real-time edit this? Like, I know Sushi Dragon. I've seen many of Sushi Dragon's clips. It just still, my head can't wrap around the... Wait, how do you live edit that? I'm confused. Oh, I love Base Hunter. I realize my love for you is gone. Ooh, ooh. I think Sushi Dragon, for the uninitiated, makes really cool things and condenses them into, like, clip-sized versions of, like, high energy, high upbeat, octane, clips, moments, stream happenings. I think the issue is, like, in a 6-hour stream, I think people become very accustomed to them. I think they would probably work, he's right, in a big event, right? Like, it would work well. The only issue I see with it being a show at a chess boxing event is the live crowd. Like, how would you show the live crowd this? I guess you could put it on the screen for them and pump out the music.
That kind of felt like a movie.
Wide.
Shadow clone jutsu. Shadow clone jutsu.
Anyway, much love to Sushi Dragon always. Anyway, boys, before we jump into today, which we're going to go over, the chess boxing event. We're going to tell some stories from it. I think we have a button video, maybe a new jet lagged video that we'll watch. A lot of stuff, a lot of things, maybe even an unusual memes. Cool, many fun things. But first, I have my Twitch recap. I got my Twitch 2022 recap. Let's take a look at my most watched streamers. My most watched streamers in 2022. Now, I do want to point this out because I thought this was funny. Connor Eats Pants showed me his recap, and he tweeted it out. and I was in his favorite streamers. How was I in his favorite streamers? I didn't stream once in 2022. How is it even possible? Anyway, I'm thinking my recap is going to be a little weird because I've watched a lot of XQC, mostly to track all his movements. And then also a shit ton. I watched like probably 20 hours when I needed to copy XQC to become him for a stream. Because I had his stream open during all of it. And then I also watch it to become him. So I'm thinking X will be the biggest. I don't think Cutie will be up there, although I do love watching Cutie. I'm not allowed to watch her in the house when she's live on the TV because she can hear it. Because she doesn't like hearing herself. All right, so let's take a look. Merch restock when? I don't know if there will be a merch restock. I don't think there will be. I think you're SOL. But I did tell you, right? I warned everybody. I told everybody the merch is coming out at this time. I think it'll sell out. Buy it. I don't know if there will be a restock. But hey, I mean, here's the thing. If I do the event again, it'll restock next year. So stick around next year, and then you'll be able to get it. Easy clap. Easy clap. Anyway, let's take a look. Let's take a look. You brought the hype. You watched 4,000 hours. Wait, that's a ridiculous amount of hours. Right? That's a stupid amount of hours. How many? Hold up. There are 365 days. So if I do 4,000 divided by 365, that's 11 hours a day? What? Okay, I'm definitely not watching 11 hours of Twitch a day. That's not true. I for sure let it play in the background. Basically, my morning routine is I go on my computer upstairs, and then I watch some streams, and then I'll leave the stream on. Jeffrey, don't say that's gross. Don't say that's gross. Okay, actually, you know what? You are a YouTube manager, so you actually can't say it. Now I'm remembering that I switched websites. I'm now remembering that I switched. Okay, never mind. Sorry about that. Jeffrey, it's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks. I let a lot of people use my Twitch account because I have Twitch Turbo. All right, I have 1 million channel points in over 3,000 chat messages. Okay, top emotes, smiley face. I do love a good smiley face. But you did the math wrong because you only watched for 320 days. So what I'm supposed to do is 4,000 divided by 320. That's even grosser. That's even more disgusting. That is it's over half of every day that I have Twitch on somewhere. That's crazy. That's crazy. Heart, you used 12 times. Bat chest. Okay, there was a bat chest phase. You used 6 times. Squad L, you used 6 times. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Squad L. Squad L. Don't dog kick.com. Squad L. And then you use slanty face 5 times. Okay, not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Gifted subs 3,000. That's a fuck ton, right? 3,000 times. That's just 15K, right? 15K? Yeah, 15K. You gifted 2,702 subs. So the exact math, 2,702 times 5. $13,000 in subs. Oof. Oof. Probably a lot towards Mango. You were a local hero. Channels modded. What? I'm a mod in 242 channels? What the fuck? Hours modded 974? That's not true. So hold up. There's 974 divided by 24. That means I modded 40 days of the year. Like 40 full days. That's like 120 days of 8-hour-a-day modding. That must just be a stat that they track. That's like you were in a channel you were a mod for 974 hours of the year. Because that doesn't make any damn sense. Thanks for lending us your sword and shield. Is that the Jump King guy? Your favorite streamers. Okay, XQC, top 12% of chatters. I feel like that's not even that high. Top 12%. Tarek, top 4%. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do watch a shit ton of Tarek. I'm going to assume that I have about like 1,000 hours watched in XQC's stream alone. Because that's where I think, like, I'm not watching Twitch 12 and a half hours a day, but I know I have it on 12 and a half hours a day. And I'll oftentimes click XQC stream. And if you click XQC stream at like 9 a.m. before you go to work, like imagine me, I'm going to work, he'll still be on when you get home from work. And then if you leave him on before you go to bed, he'll still be on when you get up in the morning. And then when you go to work in the morning, he'll still be on when you get back from work. And so I think that just happened so many times that I ended up getting 3,000 hours watched of Twitch. But for sure I watch Tarek because he's almost on every single night that I'm done streaming. Hours watch, okay, 329. Well, that's not even as bad as I thought it'd be. I watched 313 hours of Tarek. That's a fuck ton. The thing is, these are like active hours. These are like active hours with Tarek. Bits cheered. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I cheered 13,000 bits. That's $130. And that was all so he would notice me because I needed him to reply to my texts. That's embarrassing. That's some, I hate to say it, some hoe-less behavior. I don't know how I got more channel points in Tarek's stream than in X's stream. I guess I think I was claiming him. I don't really bet. I wonder how many channel points I have in Tarek's right now. 57,000. All right, looks like I did a bit of betting, I guess. And then the other two, BTS Smash, which is no surprise. They run a lot of the big Smash events. 162 hours. And then oftentimes, if I keep the TV on, I've sent 4 messages. And then 144 hours of train. Woo! Gamba, baby! Gamba! Let's go! Let's get it twisted! This is so bad, Lud. Okay, the thing is, the main way that I consume these 4 channels is on my TV. And the thing about all 4 of these channels is if you put them on the TV, they stream for such a long period that it'll be on all day. I used to put Train on my TV like at house parties. Like I would have like a get together and Train would be on the TV for like hours. Cause it's always the same thing. It's never a surprise. It's always insane. 4 messages sent. Your favorite categories were just chatting, Valorant, Melee, and League of Legends. I wish it would show you more than the top 4 people you watched. I feel like that's not enough. I feel like this is an inaccurate picture or an incomplete picture. Anyway. No cutie. Guys, I watch a shit ton of cutie. I have 150,000 channel points. Relax, you fucking weirdos, for a moment of your goddamn lives. I'm pretty sure it's more than Train, X, Tarek, and BTS combined. Gulagoon. Well, that was fun. That was fun. Put 320 days into hours. Nah, I don't really care anymore. I've moved on. Fix chat. Is it frozen? Why do you freeze on me, chat? Refresh. Let's talk about the chess boxing event, boys. Let us talk about the chess boxing event. Finally, it's been like 4 days now. I'm here. I'm happy we get to talk about the chess boxing event, everything that happened through it, all the stories from behind the scenes that you guys might not know about. as well as talking about some things that you guys might have questions on. Now, of course, the chess boxing event happened Sunday. It was fucking crazy. We had 317,000 peak viewers. The VOD of the stream has 3.5 million viewers. The event itself costs $1.6 million. So by every single metric I think that we could find, it was the biggest event I've ever done. It was the biggest event I've ever done, not just in terms of money in, but also terms of time in and how many staff members were a part of it. So a big event. And there was 9 total fights in the event. 9 total fights that made up the chess boxing event, as it were, and 9 total events that people got to enjoy online. And this was them. So let's just go through. I think we'll go through all the events, talk about some of the highlights, the lows, whatever. But first, before we get to that, I have to tell you the build up to the event. Was there any profit for the event? No, it lost a bit of money. I think it lost like 200K, maybe 150K, 150K, I think, which isn't that bad. Honestly, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, it's a loss leader for sure, but I think if we were to have run it again, if we do run it again, if we were to hypothetically run it again, I think it would make a good chunk of change. Usually first-time events are the most expensive because you know the least, so it takes the most man hours to make it happen. And then the more you do it, the easier it is, you know? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Copium. It isn't that bad. It isn't that bad. You know why? Because I can make up a good chunk of that. Hey, woo! Welcome to the button.
Sophia has had Botox.
Ooh, exciting. So, you know, that's how we get our money back, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Look, that's our loss leader is chess boxing, but it's just to rope people in to watch the button videos. Anyway, chatters, chatties. Today, let's go over the build up to the event. So the event was slated to happen on Saturday, or excuse me, Sunday. And so Saturday was like our weigh-in stream. And I don't know how many of you guys tuned into the weigh-in stream. Things went decently well in the weigh-in stream. It was a bit awkward. Weigh-in streams are always a little bit weird, I think. They're like kind of a formality in the boxing world. But, you know, it was pretty decent. We got through the weigh-in stream. We went through all the fighters. And basically tried to see if everybody was comfortable, ready, and excited for their matchups. And everything seemed to be going well. Honestly, everything was running high gear. And all our walkthroughs were going well. We had Germa, who was taking the role of the announcer, which is a very last-second decision. Actually, kind of funny. Originally, what was supposed to happen is I was going to be on the commentary desk with Gotham Chess and Matt Thomas, the chess boxing world champ. And then I would go on stage, and then I would be the announcer. And then I was supposed to keep switching back and forth because I really wanted it to feel like a Ludwig event that I was a host of. But I realized like that, okay, well, that's going to be kind of fucking hard to not only have to commentate, but also have the role to kick it over to me who'll have to hop on the stage. I don't really know if that's what I should do. And I saw that Germa uploaded our Bro vs. Bro. He uploaded our Bro vs. Bro on YouTube like literally 2 weeks ago. When he uploaded this Bro vs. Bro, I started watching it. I was just on my couch watching YouTube. It was like 1 a.m. I think Cutie's doing like a late stream. I popped a gummy. I'm watching this video. And it was so much of Germa's perspective that I never experienced because I was living in this as myself. So I never got to watch Germa's perspective, obviously. And I was busting up laughing. I think I laughed until the point of crying for the entire 54 minutes of this stream, of this video. And in that exact moment, literally like 1 a.m., I instantly messaged Germa and I'm like, I watched this. This is so funny. He's like, yeah, that was great. And I'm like, hey, can you come to my chess boxing event next week? He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I want you to come and I want you to be the announcer, like the ring announcer. He's like, oh, that'd be great. Yeah, it'll be great. And so we got Germa for it, which I was super happy about because I think he has I think he has like an infectious personality, and I think he does I think he did a great job at riling the crowd up and being a good announcer. So that it made me feel really confident going into the event. And then the day of the event was kind of wild, kind of crazy. So the day of the event, this is the goals going in. What my goals were, there were 3 total goals. I would consider the event a success straight up if everyone who fought in the event had a good time and did not get injured. Those were genuinely my 2 most important goals. Every other metric aside that you want to call out, that's important, yada yada, money made, whatever, that's great. But if those 2 things didn't happen, I think it would have just weighed on me for a long, long, long time. And then outside of that, what I wanted, like my personal goals, were for the event to get the most live viewers I've ever had in a stream, right? And then also have a full arena. Make sure that people who are watching in person had a good time. So if I went in order, it was the fighters don't get injured. The fighters have a good time. The people who bought a ticket and took the time out of their week, weekend, whatever, to come to the event had a good time, third. And then finally, the people who watch online had a good time. That's like my order of what I cared about. And so when I was at the event, I checked in with all the fighters. You know, I talked to them the day before. We went over all the rules, and I felt really good. I talked to most of the fighters before the event started because they all had their own private suite that they were hanging out at. But then the third thing that I was concerned about, the people in the event, I noticed a few issues. I noticed that the people who showed up might not be there. Let me explain. The event was slated to start at 4 o'clock, but the stream would begin at 3:30 with a 30-minute countdown. So 3:30 start time, 30-minute countdown. It actually starts at 4 p.m. Now, at around 3:20, I did an appearance in the VIP room. These are people who spent hundreds of dollars to show up to the event. And although I didn't have the time to do a meet and greet with every single one of them, I figured I would walk in, say a general hello, fist bump whoever I could, and chat with them. So I chatted with them. I gave them like a little bit of a, hey, how's it going? Yada, yada. Shot the shit. And then in that room, I noticed the first inkling that there might be some issues. In this event with the people who showed up. Our first sign of trouble was that some of the people were like in the VIP room, hey, what's up with the mushrooms? I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, what the fuck's up with the mushrooms? And I start to hear some murmuring. They're all like, yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about? And they point. And the VIP room was the VIP room for a couple reasons. One, you had floor seating, best seats in the house for the boxing portion. And then 2, you had access to a VIP area, a room with an open bar and some food. And I walk over to the food tray, and it's a bunch of carrots, a bunch of celery, and then what looks to be like just a giant shrub of mushrooms that like somebody went out foresting and found. They were all connected, and it was like a cauliflower head of just mushrooms. Not broken up at all. And I was like, what's wrong with little mushroom? Totally raw. What's wrong with little mushroom, guys? You guys are being weird. Wrote them off, walked away, instantly texted everybody. I'm like, hey, if we could get any food down there, that'd be amazing. Trying to avert that crisis. So then I go upstairs. I go to the suite section because that's where we're mostly hanging out before the event starts. And I look out into the crowd from the suites, and you have a pretty good view. Let me see if I can find it. USC suite view. And I'm starting to notice that it's about like 3:15, and not a lot of people are in the crowd yet. And I'm like, that's weird. I don't think too much of it. I ask Nick Allen, who's helping run the event. I'm like, hey, where's everybody at? And he's like, they'll be showing up soon. So I was like, all right, great, whatever. At about 3:17, again, remember, the stream's supposed to start at 3:30. I go to take a shit. Now, This was kind of embarrassing because I went to take a shit in the bathroom in the suite section, and there was only one toilet. And they did not have a swipe bidet. Unbeknownst to me, this was a swipe bidetless area. And I don't want to get too graphic here, but I got a bit of a nervous shit that popped out of me. All right? It wasn't a one-wipe dream. I was sitting there, and every time I'd wipe, and you have to check to make sure it's clean because there's nothing on the toilet paper, there would always be a little bit of shit. And I was there for like literally 10 minutes. So long so that the stream was literally 2-3 minutes away from starting. And part of the reason I was also kind of taking my time in the bathroom is because there was only one actual toilet. The other two were urinals. And I heard Germa walk into the bathroom while I was in there. And I didn't want to walk out with my stinky shit ass while Germa was in the bathroom. And so I'm sitting, I'm waiting, I'm wiping my shit ass. I heard him talk to someone at some point, but I'm too focused. Finally, I get it done. Like 50 wipes later. It was literally a quadruple flush. Quadruple flush, I shit you not. Well, I did shit you, but I'm not kidding. Finally, I'm done. I'm like sweating off my brow. I get up, I open the door, and across the bathroom, leaned up on the side like this, is Gotham Chess, aka Levy. And I'm like taken aback. I'm like, I didn't know somebody else is in the room still. I thought I was safe. And I was like, oh, what's up? And he's like, oh, thought I recognized those shoes anywhere. And the motherfucker knew it was me because I had Crocs on that Afghans gave me as a gift that said Lud Afghan with a Jigglypuff, a Psyduck that's doing blackface a la Justin Trudeau, and the Yard giblet on it. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Anyway, I washed my hands. It's now 3:29. It's 3:29. And one of the main people who made this event as special and as amazing as it was, the main head of production, was named Jacob. Now, you guys might be aware of Jacob's works in the past. Not to take away credit from the other people who were producing the events, like Germa or Cutie, but Jacob was involved in making the Dollhouse stream come to life. He was also involved in making the Stream Awards. He was part of the Streamer Awards. He produced that event with Cutie. Again, a lot of work done by Germa and Cutie, but that's like his resume. He also did a lot of the PointCrow party, and this was his next event. And I run into Jacob at 3:29. Again, remember, 3:30 the stream is supposed to start. And we're standing at a suite. It's just me and him. And I'm looking out at the arena, and I swear to God, barring the basketball floor, it looked exactly like this. Like, it was more dimly lit. There was no basketball floor, but the seats were fucking empty. And I was like, dude, this is kind of embarrassing. You know, because I was already a bit late because of this shit, but this also made me nervous. I'm like, he's like, yeah. I'm like, where is everybody? He's like, I don't really know. I think they might be buying merch. And I'm like, this is a problem. We can't start the event to absolute dead silence. Nobody in the arena. That would be a little bit weird. And he goes on and he says, yeah, we were a little bit concerned after we talked to some of the ticket people who worked at USC's arena, the Galen Center, because they asked us if we expected this to go like a normal boxing event. And what that question is, normal boxing events usually have a huge influx of people halfway through come into the arena because most people only care about the main event. So most normal boxing events, very empty at the beginning, very full at the end. But that's not really how my event was kind of postured to be because most people weren't there for the main card. In fact, most people don't even know the main card versus side card. I think most people were just there for the novelty of it. And for me, I thought, at least that's what we assumed. And so in that moment, I'm sitting there, I'm like, let's delay the stream 15 minutes. He's like, what? This is a $1.6 million broadcast that I am delaying for two reasons. One, because I took a stinky shit, and two, because I did not see enough people out there. I'm like, yeah, let's just delay it 15 minutes. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, is it going to fuck with production? He's like, probably not. And so I go for the most ballsy late wig of all time. A 15-minute delay where there were already about 40,000 people waiting in pre-chat to watch the stream. The smartest fucking thing I did the entire night. It was genius. Because what ended up happening is not only did the 15-minute delay almost double the amount of people in the waiting room ready to watch the actual event, but it also, okay, chat, if you type that, you're going to get a 5-minute ban. I'm seeing the mods are fucking you. But it also filled up the arena because it turns out that, yes, a lot of people were getting merch. And so we sent out Germa by himself at 3:30. And this was offline. And he was just a fucking rock star. He was in the ring by himself. And he was like, how's it going, everybody? This event's about to start in a little bit here. We having a good night tonight? Who's getting some merch out there? And he's doing his Germa thing. And as the event starts, it was very full. And I think we can even see that here. That it filled up quite a bit from how empty it was when we actually pushed live at 4:15 when Germa called me out.
To introduce, I don't know, who could it be? Who could we be introducing to come give you some introductions? It's none other than Ludwig!
And this was fucking crazy. To walk out to that many people, it was insane. There was a shit ton of people in the arena. I mean, thousands of people is an overwhelming thing to be the center of attention of.
Oh, hello everybody, how's it going? Holy shit! Germa, how are you? It's great to see you as always. Hey, great job riling out the crowd earlier. Appreciate that. No, they're ready. They're ready to go. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, today we have the Mogul Chessboxing Championship as brought to you by Fansly.
And then we went on, we introduced the event, we brought out the Sky Table, which, again, in person, we don't have all the music, gizmos, and gadgets that the stream does, so I didn't realize how epic the Sky Table was.
This table will be where the magic happens, not just for Super Smash Bros. Look at this! But for every single chess game today. Yeah, you can punch someone in the fucking face.
Anyway, this idea was conceived because I thought it'd be tight if we would have the chess ring come from the floor and you know, rise up like a monolith for the people to play on. And it turns out that's a huge, huge issue with safety because the floor would have to move and then maybe it gives in or whatever. And so what Jacob recommended was for it to come from the ceiling, which honestly I think was even more badass in a way. I think it descending from the ceiling was pretty fucking badass.
You can get punched in the face, but today is the mixture of brains and brawn.
So the event begins in our first match, which was the ones I was most nervous about, was Smashboxing. Now, the reason I was a little bit nervous about Smashboxing is because although I'm a huge fan of Super Smash Bros. Melee, most people aren't. Like, the most viewed Melee game ever is 250,000, 40,000. And the next most is like 200, maybe 150, and then it drops off quickly. Not that many people watch competitive Smash. A lot of people play the game, not really Melee, though. That's usually Ultimate. And then also, just to add to it, everybody's kind of seen boxing before. But then someone said something to me that morning that made so much fucking sense. They're like, Ludwig, why are you so worried about people not understanding Smash? Nobody understands chess at all. And I was like, oh. Yeah, that's a good fucking point. I was so stressed out because I thought Melee was such a niche esport. Chess is as niche, although maybe a more widely known or seen game. The actual intricacies of chess are harder to grasp than bird character punches fox character. That's pretty easy to pick up even for a layman, as opposed to who's winning a chess position.
Got a TV and every.
So we started the match.
Are you guys ready for the first card?
Now, every single match had this video that we prepared the day before. These videos were shot in a hotel room that was like a hotel room for ants.
My name is
We had these tiny ass hotel rooms, and we lit them up. This was like the entry for the hallway for the room. This is the bathroom that we had a light through, and we had like 6 dudes in there. I think at one point BoxBox went on stream and said he thought he was walking into a porn set because of how small it was and how many cameras there were and how much the bed took up the space. But insane spot to have shot from. But also I think we got really cool products that came from them.
Toussaint. My gamer tag is Toussaint, and I'm the 42nd best melee player in the world.
Hi, my name is Tetsuhi, and my gamer tag is Spud. I'm a math player from New Zealand, currently residing in Australia.
Yeah, here's the tweet that Nick posted. This is where we did the recording. Was in this room, and this is what the final product looked like, which is pretty sick that you can use a room like this to get a product like this. But they ended up working out pretty well. Now, the first card of the night, I was the most nervous for, because not only was it the Smash Boxing, it was also the 2 people who I was the most nervous about in terms of fighting. I had the least information about. Originally, it was supposed to be this man, Spud, against Josh Man. This was one of the last second cards that were added. Originally, it was supposed to be Josh Man against Hungrybox. For weeks and weeks and weeks, Hungrybox was saying that he was interested in doing this event. He wanted to do this event, that we would do this event. And I kept asking him. I even set up boxing training appointments for him. Like I would call a gym in Florida. I'd be like, hey, can you have a one-on-one appointment with my guy, Juan? And he was like, yep. I would tell Juan when it was and to get there, just to get him in the gym to see if he liked it. And we kept going through it. And then finally, I just get like a hard no. Like I think sometime in like September, about 2 months before the event, that Juan won't do it. And I'm like, fuck, because I already paid Josh Man to do it. I paid every single fighter a flat amount of money up front to pay for the boxing and the food, and so that they wouldn't have to like work if they had a job for that period. And so Josh Man didn't have an opponent. So he hits up his friend Spud, this New Zealand melee player, and they're good buddies, and they were meant to fight each other. And I use the word meant to fight each other because what ended up happening is that Josh Man broke his arm in an arm wrestling match 6 weeks before the event. So what was supposed to be Josh Man versus Hungrybox ended up being Josh Man versus Spud, a fill for the event, and then ended up, I had to get a fill for Josh Man, so it ended up being Spud versus Toussaint. So none of the people in the final fight were even meant to be in the fight in the first place. Like they were both fills in a way. Not to say that they are not worthy, not to say that they're not good competitors, nothing like that. But they were both like fills for other people. And so it made a bit of a weird card. Spud versus Toussaint. And the fight I was a little bit nervous about, and I think rightfully so. Because this is Toussaint.
God. Good Lord.
Who is an absolute beast.
Now this is Toussaint. Just looking.
That's what I just said. 6'2", 168 pounds, a 77-inch reach, 24 years
Phenomenal.
old.
77
From a country.
And then this was Spud.
We have Spud.
You know.
Who's a little bit shorter, who's a bit lighter, almost 9 pounds lighter, and who has 5 inches less in reach.
I mean, look. He can't look. The smoke came out.
Not his height.
And yeah, for sure did not seem like it would be a very balanced fight. But Spud had more experience. Or so I thought. You see, Spud had about 2 to 3 months of training. I think 2 months of training. Toussaint had half of that. But what I didn't know until after the event is that Spud did almost 0 boxing training. Almost 0 boxing training at all. Every player was supposed to do boxing training. I would message them and keep up and ask them if they were doing it. And they'd be like, yeah. But Spud, unbeknownst to me this entire time, took the 20,000, wanted to play a bunch of Super Smash Bros, wanted to live in the States without having to work at all, but didn't want to do the boxing training. So he basically scammed me out of 20,000 because he was down to get punched in the face. Which, you know what? Scammers are going to scam. All right? Do your hustle. But it showed a lot in the actual ring. Now, the way it was supposed to work is the first game and every odd number round after that was the Smash round. And Spud did win the Smash round. And then all the even number rounds would be boxing, so there'd be 3 total boxing rounds. So Spud started out hot with a win in Smash.
Wow. It's game taken by Spud against Toussaint.
But then he had to do the thing where he punched and got punched in the face, which didn't go super well. I'll just let the round play out. It's not that long.
Different after getting punched.
I should have known. I should have known when he took the shirt off. I should have known, man.
It's a small ring too. You want them to fight.
Yeah.
This is a small.
Oh yeah, we made it small. We made it small.
This is
We got hazards on too. The Fansly thing drops down if they don't interact enough.
Yeah.
Randall is also here.
Yeah.
The guy holding a platform.
All right. Looks like the referee's chatting with them, touching gloves.
Okay, here we go.
And it looks like the fight is about to begin.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, round 2, first round of boxing.
All right,
Tuesday
here we
versus
go.
Spud.
We got 2.
Bell's live. We're in. We're in.
Live.
All right.
Getting in there.
I need the stretcher.
Instantly, Phil calls out that we need a stretcher because he joked earlier that there's no way we would need that. And Toussaint instantly hits all 3 jabs into like a straight. Everything's connecting. Literally impossible to miss, it looks like. Hits some body shots. And the ref instantly does a standing count. Now, the way that boxing works is that you are allowed a maximum of 3 standing counts per round or 4 standing counts in the total fight. And a standing count is basically like, hey, you looked like such shit in there that I think you're going to hurt yourself if I don't count. So I'm going to count. I'm going to count because you don't look like you can defend yourself. And if I keep you in here, you're going to die.
Oh.
So he starts the count. He counts to 8. And then if you don't put your gloves up and say, I'm ready to fight within 8 seconds, or if the ref sees your eyes glazing, whatever, he will call it.
So what's this? This is an early count by the referee because he wasn't able to defend himself enough.
Exactly.
If the ref counts to 10, the fight is over. They've touched gloves, and an immediate out the gate.
All right. Oh, moving the head.
With a lot of heart.
Dude, this is bullying. This is literally bullying, dude. Toussaint walks over. He even shakes his head because of, I think, how easy it is. Look at Toussaint shake his head after connecting in the head and then just going for a gut shot because Spud's not defending at all.
Immediate out the gate.
All right. Oh, moving the head.
With a lot of heart.
Talk about Toussaint. What's his strategy?
He looks at the ref because it's not even a fight here. All this is one man shirtless doing this and then the other one just beating the shit out of him. It looks more like an initiation into a frat in America than it does a boxing match.
Oh, another. Oh, he's not fighting back. He's got to.
Phil, talk to me about this. Talk to me about this.
Now, he said it was because his head thing was maybe a little bit too low, whatever. He never trained with a headgear because I don't think he ever trained. So they fixed the headgear a little bit, and then they jump back in. It's already been 2 standing counts, a 3rd standing count, and the fight would be called.
You know,
Okay,
maybe
just jab down the middle. We love it. We love it.
Spud's backing it up.
Constantly.
Oh,
goes down one time.
What goes down? Down goes Frazier.
Now, they didn't count the second count because the headgear issue. So this knockdown was technically the second. One more and it'd be over.
Tuesday said is nothing.
Caught off guard by that jab, and this is the 3rd standing count by the referee. How many do you get? How many do you get?
I don't know. What's the rule that you have for this? Because it can be up to 3.
What is that pose?
Or it can be unlimited. It's
Sure.
on the rule you said.
It's 3 and 1.
We running around. It's about to happen. If Spud doesn't throw some punches.
Spud is throwing punches,
about to
I
get
don't think
out of here.
Spud's thrown one punch. Even there, Toussaint does this. Go on, hit me, bro. Hit me.
3 and 1.
Look at this.
It's about to happen. If Spud doesn't throw some
Come on,
punches.
bro.
Spud is throwing punches.
Come on, you
Get him
can.
out of here.
One more standing count, and it might
he's
be
getting
third.
caught.
Oh my
He's
God.
gonna lead
He's so
with it.
intimidating right now.
Oh.
20 seconds on the
Oh,
clock.
oh.
Spud just has to
That's
survive.
about to get stopped.
18, 17. Standing count.
And one more and it's over, right?
Yeah, I believe they didn't count the first two because of the issue with the headgear.
Or at least the second one, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
second
that's
one.
correct.
So, we're at two. Are we at two right now?
And then, I don't know if Spud knew or didn't know, but he just counts to 10 and Spud never puts his gloves up. So it was kind of a joke of a fight. Honestly, I didn't even realize how bad it was in the moment as a commentator because it went by so fast and I wasn't able to see the perspective that people online were. But it was a bit of a shit show.
Wait.
Just another.
Is this it?
It kind of ends in a whimper. The crowd's a bit silent. Spud got his shit knocked around for a bit, but he got 20K in the pocket. So, you know.
He's waving off. They're calling it.
And that's it.
It's a first round.
That's it. It was the round 1 boxing TKO.
There it is.
And I think it made everybody in the crowd a bit uneasy about what was meant to happen for the rest of the event. Now, I wasn't that nervous. At least not at this point. Although that was a bit of a shit show. Although that's obviously not how I wanted things to go. And I wanted everyone to make sure they're training and fighting well. And I checked in and he wasn't being honest with me. I did know that we had way too many cards. So like I signed up originally 9 different cards, knowing that I had a secret 10th card that obviously we'll get to at the end, expecting some of the cards to fall through 2 or 3 weeks before the event, which did happen, by the way. About 2 cards fell through 2 weeks before the event. What I didn't expect was for me to be able to fill those cards so easily. So we had way too many fights, and we did not have nearly as much free time to do them all in. Like, for example, if every single fight went to the final round, it probably would have been close to a 7-hour show, which is way too long. It's way too long. All right, our show as it stands started at 4:15 p.m. and ended at 9:30. It was all in all about 5 hours, 10 minutes, including the 30-minute countdown. So about 4 hours, 40 minutes. 4 hours, 30 minutes with a couple of the other breaks. So a pretty long show. So I was kind of happy about the round 1 TKO. As much as that might sound like copium, I was kind of down for the round 1 TKO because it meant that we're going to get through the fights quicker. And that leads us to our second fight. And for everything that the first fight failed to be, I think the second fight made up for it 10 times over. For everyone who was watching online or in person and thought this might be a shit show, I think the second fight showed how cool smash boxing or chess boxing or any combo sport could be.
And so we have our next fight coming up. It's going to be between Fiction and Kalindi. These guys are dead.
Something new. I'm a pro Melee player and a game developer. Done a lot of stuff and I'm ready to win at something new.
Kalindi Henderson, professional Melee player. Kind of here just to box one of my best friends, not really to play Melee.
Why did I sign up for it? I mean, I'm always looking for opportunities to find new ways to compete and grow and stuff like that.
Like me and Fiction have kind of wanted to fight each other for a while, like respectfully, just because we piss each other off so much in Melee.
I'd say, I mean, obviously I feel more comfortable with the smash part because I've done that for like a decade plus, but the boxing is the part I'm like more into and more prepared for, so.
I'd say I'm more prepared for the boxing part. It's just been my focus for the last 3 months, not really the Melee part, because I mean, I know how to play Melee, and we're also playing with hand wraps, so it's a little weird. I didn't want to put too much thought onto that. Grinding that and not the boxing, I think it's more important to grind the boxing, so.
Am I happy, like, with who I'm fighting? Yeah. Oh, definitely. No, I wanted to fight Kalindi for years. Every time we play friendlies, I mean, that's the whole thing. Every time we used to play friendlies, we would just say, like, oh, I can't wait to fight you. We went on a vacation together once with a couple friends, and he actually bought, like, sock'em boppers.
I don't know, we got there, and nature was so cool that we were, like, too friendly to fight each other, but now we're back to wanting to fight.
Biggest fear? I think my biggest fear would be that the boxing is going really well, and then the round ends before I can do anything good. You get in there, and then like, I don't know, you slip or you look really stupid, that would suck. So I think we're just trying to go in there, and I just want to like show off that I've been training, show off some decent boxing for my level.
Are you concerned at all that this will fracture your friendship with Fiction?
No.
This fight was fucking dope. This fight was dope for 2 reasons, because these guys wanted to beat the shit out of each other for years, which I cannot believe I didn't know. When I asked them to fight, I had no clue that they had a previous beef. All I did is I reached out to 2 people that Aiden told me would probably do it. So I was like, Aiden, who should I ask? And he's like, I think Fiction and J-Mook would do it. And so originally, that's what it was meant to be. It was going to be Fiction, J-Mook. I asked J-Mook, and he didn't even ask questions. He's like, yeah, I'm done. Sounds great. And then the closer we got to the holidays, he's like, I'm actually going to be busy. And so then I'm like, Aiden, who can I ask now? And he's like, KJH would probably do it. Kalindi. And then Kalindi was like, instantly, I'm down. So this wasn't even meant to be them. It ended up becoming them, which was the perfect matchup overall. Now, of course, it starts with the smash, and then it's the boxing between. And the smash was pretty good.
Game over the past couple weeks. And it's really
bailing us out.
The smash was pretty good. It ended up with, I think, Fiction winning game 1.
Basically, it's a Falco's
exciting.
Fiction won game 1 in the smash. And then I think the cool thing is how fucking tired they were game 2 of smash. I think that was one of the cool things that this event showed, is like how difficult it is to be a master in anything after having boxed.
Can't just keep holding the hands by the face because body shots are coming in. That's the big punch is landed by Fiction. Ooh.
Fiction's leaving his head open too, though. I'm getting a little scared. The chin's up.
He's getting straight shot down. He's straight down the middle. KJ's just throwing straight down. I think he's seeing a lot of success in body shots. Head movement for Fiction. He's just taking them. You gotta move. Wait, don't
good jabs. Good jabs.
Okay.
Good contact.
It's so back and forth. His energy is crazy, but Fiction.
The fight was crazy. Fiction looked so ferocious throughout all of it. Every single fight, like the actual boxing round, went the same way. The first 45 seconds was like Kalindi coming out, swinging. And then the last 45 seconds or 30 seconds, Fiction would get the upper hand.
They're slowing down. They're slowing down a lot here. We are a minute through our round. There's 30 seconds left, but these guys are already seeing gas in the 92nd round. I mean, it doesn't hurt him too much. Maybe in the ring. It's still in the back, throwing punches. Okay, it's getting. They look tired. They're tired. They're tired. They are gassed. They're tired. That's what happens too when you're not throwing out. Big swings from each side.
F? I'm back.
It's just about who can do the most damage when connected. It seems like Fiction's hitting the face. Oh!
After the bell.
Yeah, got one out after the bell there. You could get a little cheeky, but, you know, we're trying to keep things respectful here.
Now, this is what I thought was so cool, is if you look at these two right when the boxing, or excuse me, right when the smash starts, look how tired they are.
And they're just throwing them out. It's like sock and boppers. And the more pressure and the more tense you feel, the quicker you... It's 30-second minute. It really is. Yeah, true.
So that's good.
Also, I get that Minecraft. No warm-ups this time. They're going straight into it. No warm-ups. We're going straight into it.
I love that, too. And I cannot wait to see some beaten melee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think second game, if you weren't here,
looking at the player cams of them so focused, literally heaving, I thought was so insane.
First game, we're in it, round 3. Okay, here we go. Second game, if you weren't here, the first game did go to Fiction.
Oh my God, they both look so exhausted in the player cam.
I mean, look at their player cams. They're heaving. Right? But you are so gassed after even 90 seconds in the ring.
And then, of course, that ended with another Fiction win, and then the second round of boxing was very even. And then the third game of Melee was a very decisive Fiction win. So this one didn't go the full 3 rounds of boxing. They actually only got to have 2 rounds of boxing in. But it showed how cool the sport of combined smash and combined boxing could be because of how much it changes your ability to play, because of how tired you are and how much you get beat up in the ring.
Backing up, finally.
Another oh, no! That's it! Oh! Dropped it! Fiction, that dog, of course he goes for it. Of course he takes that. This is looking almost impossible.
And there it is.
Fiction pop-off.
Wins the match by Melee.
Now, I don't think if I did a chess boxing event again that I would do a smash boxing undercard at the same event, but I do think it would be cool to do a smash boxing exhibit at a smash event in the future. I do think that'd be cool.
What a champion.
Fiction gets it done for the SoCal.
For SoCal in home turf.
Home turf win, guys. Holy, I'm so happy we got to see the 2 smash cards and by different results. One by TKO. One by, the other one by getting the results that you wanted. A mixture, you know? And this is telling a story.
I think it's just also technically harder to switch between the smash and the chess portions for the production. So not having it would be a lot better. Which, of course, brings us to our first of 7, or I guess 8, chess boxing matches of the night. By the way, chat, this was your predictions because we did a stream where you guys predicted who would win. You thought that Toussaint would beat Spud. You guys were correct. You thought that Fiction would beat Kalindi. You guys were also correct. So you guys went 2 for 2. And that brings us to our third match where your prediction was that Stanz would beat BoxBox. Now, Stanz, my good friend, I love Stanz to death, was going up against BoxBox. And the expectation going in was that Stanz would be able to win in the boxing portion because he's God's gift to boxing. He's a big man. And that BoxBox would lose, win in the chess portion because BoxBox is a much higher rated chess player.
What a ring name.
That's not what happened at all.
Now, for some of the stats, Stanz is 4 years old.
It's not what happened at all. What actually ended up happening is that BoxBox kind of threw in chess.
It's on autopilot, yes. Online, but worth noting as might win.
Like, I'm pretty sure the first round of chess was fine enough, and they were pretty even. And Stanz had a little bit of a better opening. And the boxing round
90 pounds. They both he's close.
Was way more even than people thought too.
Take it away.
We went over the rules. We're gonna hit from.
I won't call it a flip of what people expected because I still think the boxing was pretty even. Like, I think Stanz was almost winning in the boxing because he had a knockdown, and he was certainly winning in the chess.
Here until here. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. If I say break, you take a step back and you immediately continue. If I say stop, you stop. Please shake hands.
The referee
back to your corners.
In this match is
Let's have a good fight.
Hamberling, one of the chess boxers.
Where was the knockdown with where was the knockdown?
Here we go. Shot.
Oh!
Another 2 up top. Cross lands right to the chin of BoxBox.
Oh!
Defending himself. And the
there
rest
it is.
steps in early. Intelligent defense not happening. BoxBox getting a standing 8 count.
Yeah, Stanz came out in the first 10 seconds with such aggression.
Here we go. Our boxing tonight. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. First
touch of the gloves.
boxing round underway.
Ooh.
And Stanz landed an early shot.
Oh!
Another 2 up top. Cross lands right to the chin of BoxBox.
Oh, good right hand.
Defending himself, and the rest steps in early.
I think it's an early standing count right there. But.
Intelligent defense not happening. BoxBox getting a standing 8 count. Ready to bring himself back together. Both of these fighters opting not to wear safety gear, not to wear the helmets for all of your enjoyment. Here we go, gloves touch, and we're back into the action.
So that's 1 stoppage there, right, for Stanz?
That's 1 stoppage for Stanz. If 2 more happen in this round.
Did Stanz get a knockdown? Because I remember him on stream talking about a knockdown.
That means the match is over.
And so what did you see there that the ref saw that made it stop the fight?
Yeah, there was no attempt to fight back for BoxBox in a series of about 5 punches.
Well, if he just fought back.
So here we go. Yeah, BoxBox is sending shots back. He's heading up with a jab, fully extending. He's looking a lot better. He's coming back from that stoppage with a little bit more energy, a little bit more life.
And it seems this might be going the way of our last bout where they're a little slower after the first 45 seconds.
That's right, yeah. And great.
So I'm going to make it member only because I feel like every non-member is spamming F. And if it's a little laggy, I think it's not for everybody. And there's nothing I can do about it. So just good luck. You're ruining my chat.
Cross landed to the temple by Stanz. Stanz definitely landing the majority of the significant strikes so far in this round. Oh. Nice 1-2 landed by BoxBox right to the chin.
Yeah, until that one.
Stanz felt that one.
Stanz working the body, by the way, right? A lot of right hands to the body of BoxBox.
And it's great to go
BoxBox is the only guy with a solid 1-2.
But come round 2, 3, you start feeling those body starts to start slowing you down.
Ooh!
Another great cross landed to the chin of BoxBox.
Jesus!
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing a great first round. Less than 10 seconds left.
5 seconds left for the fighters.
Yeah, good job by BoxBox to swing himself out of that corner. Could have been another
here we go.
standing knockdowns.
Oh! Ending the round with a great.
Stanz did not expect the range there. But I think a very well played round by Stanz. He got the standing count. He also seemed to get more hits on BoxBox overall.
From BoxBox.
Stanz shook it off like, I'm good.
Except for that 4-piece. Jesus.
Oh, 4 shots into the head. Wow. There's another 1-2. BoxBox going off.
Yeah, a lot of connect.
Stanz won 1 knockdown already, 1 stoppage. So if he gets 3 more over the course of the match, he wins the match. So technically.
Now, the chess was crazy here. Now, unfortunately, we had an issue. This was a bit of a bummer. So for the first 2, I think, or 3 fights, there was an issue with like the chess.com and the board where it wasn't showing up in the digital format. So we were showing the chess in the over-the-shoulder camera. And the over-the-shoulder camera, you know what? At first, I thought it was way more cringe. But when the board was fixed and we switched to the digital format, everybody started complaining on the YouTube live stream that they preferred the over-the-shoulder. And I think it's because for people who don't understand chess at all, having more information does not make it easier to consume. It makes it more confusing. And all they're doing is relying on the information given by Levy. And so seeing the board in the eval bar in the position doesn't actually matter to them. They just are fine with over-the-shoulder and Levy's commentary, which I was surprised by because I thought, as someone who like understands like a little bit, at least at the level of chess that was being played here, that this was a way worse viewing experience than if we had an actual digital board.
Looks like it seems to be working, and we may get it up on the big screen.
For a castle in chess,
it's only scary. He's still doing okay, but now he's the pawn down, and his king is weak.
Where's the big moment?
He's about to be
Queen is gone.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah, there was a crazy play here where BoxBox playing the white as the stronger player moved his queen over to e6.
Yeah, a little bit stressful here for Stanz.
Stanz,
does have a strategy of
panting, makes a very natural move to put his rook on e8 to attack the queen.
But you can use that time so you can get to the boxing rounds where maybe he feels more
and
comfortable.
And then BoxBox,
so that his opponent plays worse.
For whatever reason, rather than defend the queen,
that's no joke. All right, and
moves his rook over to e1 to defend it, rather than move the queen away to like save her life, and just ends up going down a queen. There's no like defending this move. It's just dumb. It's just a bad move. It was just poorly played. I don't know why he played it. I think it might just be a mixture of the nerves and the stress. But the facial reactions make it seem like nothing bad happened.
Rounds where maybe he feels more comfortable getting some damage so that his opponent plays worse.
Yep, that's correct.
Like this is his face as he loses his queen. You can see him right here.
But you can use that time so you can get to the boxing rounds where maybe he feels more
He furrows his brow for half a second and then he's just like, all right.
Comfortable getting some damage so that his opponent plays worse.
Yep, that's correct. But if BoxBox takes that pawn in the center.
And that's when I start to realize that this sport is kind of fucking cool. A lot of people were saying like, hey, the event was so good because the matches were so luckily good. It was so fortunate how close a lot of the matches were. But I think there's almost this self-correcting thing that happens in chess boxing where the person who's better in chess usually ends up being worse at boxing, so they get punched more, so they start playing worse in chess, and a bunch of blunders happen. And a lot like a Super Smash Bros. Tournament where the top 8, everyone's very nervous and they're playing bad, but it leads to more fun games to watch. Everyone's so bad and so nervous and so tired in chess that they all like have their rating. Like the rating instantly goes like out the window, which I think makes it very hype to watch. So Stanz ends up going up a queen. He's crushing in the chess. He was crushing in the boxing, and then enters the second round of boxing.
That's true. Feels like
if they card of the night, they got big punches.
Another double jab hook land for BoxBox. BoxBox clearly having done some boxing training.
Oh my God.
Maybe underselling how much.
BoxBox was looking good here too.
For these body shots, again, you said they matter later on.
Absolutely.
Oh!
It's like investments. You put them in early, they help you out later on.
That was a huge left hook from Stanz.
That's right.
Yeah, Stanz says his left is his strongest hook. He is a righty though, but he does have a mean left.
And leading with your left hand, having the quicker, the harder punch forward. You're going to throw a
good flurry from BoxBox.
Over the course of a match, so having that as your dominant hand forward is really good for Stanz.
BoxBox much more aggressive this round. I think he feels the moment.
Good jab. Good one too.
And 45 seconds left on the clock here. It's looking like they're both a little bit winded, but BoxBox still keeping the pressure on.
And BoxBox is doing an incredible job of setting up his shots with his jab. You throw about 3 times as many jabs as any other punch in boxing. He's clearly drilled, finding that hole, eliciting a reaction, and then setting up a power shot. He's thrown multiple 1-1-2s just like that one, going to the body.
And I think it was right there.
Up a power shot.
As he goes for this left hook, I think BoxBox just glances his shoulder and it kind of knocks it off. And you can see Stanz gets instantly
like that one, going to the
a grimace across his face.
First time. Oh, and here we go. Stanz getting a standing 8 count. Looks like he's injured.
Oh, that's it. That's the fight.
We may have a broken hand.
Oh, no. No, I believe what it is a dislocated shoulder.
Oh, no, I hope not. I've done that before in a fight. It is not fun.
It looks like they just popped it back in place. Yep.
Yeah, and he dislocated his shoulder. This was sad to see. Now, I'm very happy that BoxBox won. I'm happy for BoxBox. I think that's fucking dope. It's just sad to see because Stanz is my dog, and it's not the way that anyone wants to lose a fight, right? Like, if you want to lose from checkmate, from getting TKO'd, from, you know, timeout, from trying your best the whole way through, never from injury. So not a great way for a fight to end. That was postured to be great.
I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm excited that the fight and the training is over.
This is Stanz talking about it.
First things first, I want to give congrats to BoxBox. He was an absolute animal in the ring, and every one of my sparring partners I hit with those punches crumpled like a goddamn tin can. The guy's got a chin like an iron tank, so
True.
I'm glad he won, and I think he might have won anyway. I think he was winning round 2's boxing for sure, even though I was pretty strong in the first 30 seconds of round 1, got that 8 count. Gotta say it. Thank you so much for all the positive comments on the video. Two things. One, vlogging is new to me. I haven't done it a lot, and you guys have been so receptive, not only with the most recent video, but all. Lastly, this video is about me dislocating my arm. Obviously, it happened in the ring during the fight, but it's happened 2 other times these last few weeks that we're going to talk about. I don't think that this mattered in the context of the fight. Like I said, BoxBox was an animal, way better than I expected, and he deserved to win. But I think it's an interesting day before Chessboxing, and by the time you're watching this, I've already fought. Maybe I won. Maybe I checkmated BoxBox. Maybe he knocked me out in the middle of the ring. Maybe I got knocked out so hard I vomited and pooped my pants, and I'm not even gonna release this video if that happened, to be honest. But there's something I want to tell you. I've been training very, very hard for the past 3 months.
I like how he made a video before the fight about a scenario where he would lose by the exact scenario he lost in. It's almost like memes if Donald Trump wins the election, memes if Donald Trump loses the election.
And in late November, something bad happened. So I've been sparring with Hugo, another chess boxer in the event, I hope he won, and a guy named Chris, a sparring partner who's been training with my coach Daniel for a long time. And some of the
chat, actually, I'm putting it back in members. I don't care if it's an actual F. You don't have to spam it. I can see when it lags, and there's nothing we can do. You're gonna make me go back. You're gonna make me go back. Don't make me go back. I don't want to. Just stop telling me. Just keep it to yourselves. You react too quickly, too much.
the basic punches in boxing, you have your jab, you have your cross, you have your hook, and the jab is the most used punch in boxing. It's something you do all the time. You keep your opponent busy, you see if you can slide one into their guard, tap their head. Well, I went for a jab on Chris, he potted away, a nice parry, and my arm bent the wrong direction. Daniel, my coach's eyes go wide, Chris obviously stops punching me, and I'm thinking, my arm is broken. There's no way I can do this fight, all this training's been wasted, and I've let my friend Ludwig down. A few seconds later, it pops right back in, and besides the emotional scarring, I think I'm fine. Obviously, Daniel's concerned, Chris is concerned, and we're thinking there might be something wrong with it. I go home, and I don't even think about it. I wake up the next morning, and I feel like shit. In fact, I woke up at about 5 in the morning, rolling over trying to get comfortable with a ton of pain in my shoulder. This pain I felt when I dislocated my shoulder was familiar to me. I knew exactly how it happened. In college, I liked to longboard to get around. It was an easy way to get to class, and it was kind of a fun hobby for me. One day when I was skating to class, I caught the lip of the sidewalk, and I went flying. Everyone pointed and laughed at me, and I landed on my shoulder. Because I was embarrassed and poor, and healthcare in the United States is trash, I didn't get it treated or seen, and in fact, I went back to my job stocking boxes at a grocery store that night. Since then, I've always had a little bit of a click in my shoulder, but because I had never competed in combat sports, it never came back to bite me. Until today, until 2 weeks before, the biggest fight of my life, the only fight of my life. Dislocating my shoulder, bam! I jab into a guard.
Oh, fuck, dude. I feel so bad.
Next training after dislocating my shoulder, bam! I jab into a guard, and it pops out again. Now, at this point, I'm a seasoned veteran. I know exactly what to do. Stand there in pain until it goes and pops right back into place.
Oh, fuck. I hate watching this.
Yeah.
You okay? Fuck me.
What a fucking warrior, though, to, like, because I think the general way that dislocations work is the more you get dislocations, the more often they happen. I don't know. It's like you're de-rusting the gears or something, and it starts just. But the fact that it had happened and he predicted how it happened was a bit of a sad story, but a cool win for BoxBox nevertheless. And of course, the only way that I did not want for the fights to end. I was down for fights to end every way possible. The only way you never want them to end is injury. And so that was a sad one. And I was hoping things would turn around for the next fight, because look, I'll keep it a buck. I tried to be as unbiased as possible. I was biased in 2 fights. I was biased when I was rooting for my man Stanz, and I was biased when I was rooting for one of my favorite YouTubers, Chris Broad.
With the Fansly walkout, bring out our 2 fighters.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, our first combatant in the white corner, weighing in at 180 pounds, 5'8", he is Mr. Affable himself, Chris, abroad in Japan! And of course, Chris walking out to his iTunes number 14 chart, ASO, Too Much Volcano, accompanied by his coach Nick on the right, his friend Pete on the left, and Connor Dog, voice actor, in the back. I think are they handing out candy?
Is this a Mardi Gras parade? I think they're just throwing out candy to the crowd right now.
I don't know why they were throwing out candy, but they were throwing out candy, and that was pretty fun. And this was Chris Broad going up against his last-second fill, Overtflow. Now, originally, Chris was supposed to go up against the German vlogger Papa Plot, and this is what Papa Plot looks like.
Wir werden nochmal.
Sofort. He's the blonde dude.
Wieder angemacht, wenn ich meine Füße hier gerade zeige.
Now, grippers aside, seems like a sweet kid, but not exactly the same size, stature, and height as his actual opponent, Overtflow, who looked like a bit of a fucking machine. And Chris felt the same way because Connor later told me this. He saw Overtflow, and he was like, oh, I'm fucked. He thought he was in big trouble just based off the look of Overtflow. Now, although Overtflow looks pretty mean, and he does have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, this was his last professional fight.
Welcome back to another Punch Plan video. He landed and going up against Overtflow, and the very first punch he landed and connected, he dropped Overtflow, and it was over from there. Overtflow stumbling to get up and not able to reclaim any balance, and it was just over. So
he got knocked out on the first punch.
Overtflow, and the very first punch he landed,
the camera didn't even catch it. So, like, there was some, I think, possibilities for Chris to win this fight.
Boxer here tonight.
100%. He's been involved with influencer boxing since the beginning, having fought on a Paul card, being involved with Misfit Boxing with KSI. He's got the chops, and that's why he had the courage to step up last minute to take on Chris, which we're grateful for.
Now, it starts with the chess, which was originally going really, really well for Chris.
For the man with the most front runner for victory. The easiest thing is
and talk about.
It's a very good start for Chris.
Yeah. Let me jump in there.
He had like a 50-second lead. Everything was going fine. And then the boxing started.
Right, and he's back to southpaw.
And this was one of the weirdest fights of the night. I don't think that it was as imbalanced as some of the other fights. But it was just a weird fight. I'll just let it play out a bit. It just felt like Chris running around a lot and then Overtflow running with a fist out like he was Margit from Elden Ring.
How common is it to switch? Is that a normal thing for fighters?
Usually it either shows that you're extremely experienced or extremely inexperienced.
Which one do you think it's here?
I think he's extremely confident.
He's walking around a lot. The thing is,
He can stall the time by walking around, but if they get back to chess, he's down a minute in time.
That's right. And one thing to look out for here is as both of the fighters are throwing shots, do they keep their guard at home? Is that other hand protecting their chin?
Now, Chris's guard, I think, was pretty good. People like to immediately jump and say Overtflow went easy. He had one thing that he kept doing, which was like this huge sweeping overhand or hook that he was trying to hit Chris with. But Chris was very effective in dodging that and at least punching back, where a lot of other fighters, when they had opportunities to fight back where there were holes in their opponent's defense, were so overwhelmed by the offense that they would just kind of cower and run away. And you saw this happen like to Dina. You saw it happen to Spud. You even saw it to happen to some of the other better fighters who were a little bit gassed.
Sometimes that comes down to your chest. Sometimes it comes all the way down to your waist. Keeping that guard up for anything that could come back is a really important for defense.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Overflow's keeping the hands low because he thinks he's fast and he's got the speed advantage, right? He's not worried about the counterpunching.
He's channeling Ali. He thinks he has the range and the timing and the distance.
Oh, we're about to see a takedown here.
Chris Broad.
Okay, bringing out some of the jiu-jitsu skills. I don't think that's applicable in the ring.
well,
Ref breaks it up.
I don't.
And we have
So 15 seconds left.
Yep, 15 seconds.
End of the round coming up.
Slowest of the fights we've seen tonight in our fourth bout.
I think Overflow needed a little bit of a fast
whoa.
start.
And just, it was kind of a weird fight in the first round. A lot of people felt that Overtflow was going to just crush in the second round of the fight, and that the first round was just him, you know, warming up, you know, not his full power.
And by the way, there is a move in this position that's apparently there.
But the problem is that he might not have had the time that he wanted to do everything that we're talking about, because Chris's chess play was phenomenal. He's playing the white pieces here. I'll move my cam to the bottom left corner. He's playing the white pieces here, and the white has a great attack with the battery on the bishop with the queen, puts the king into check.
It's been, oh, bishop takes pawn. That was the setup there. And we had an exchange of glances from the players like, you SOB, you took the pawn. And now the king's got to go. By the way, white's bishop has had the opportunity to take this rook for about 8 moves now. We can just keep a timer of how long, and white is completely winning here. Completely winning. An experienced player will chop down a few pieces in front of black's king, get in, and win the game.
So it goes on a little bit. They play it pretty slow.
We do see black's king under severe pressure as the...
And basically it ends with Chris having his queen staring at the knight that's the only thing in between the queen and the king. So a very good spot to be in. He also has a bishop that has this rook that's locked. He has a knight here that can attack and start to make some holes. He has these rooks that are on pretty good files. So he's in a pretty good spot chess-wise. As long as he's able to survive in boxing, he should have won. Yeah, we didn't get to see some of the moves there at the end, but it did seem to be a continuation of the first round of chess.
It's worse.
And now Levy on commentary notices something else. He says it's even worse. And that's because he noticed that there was a mate in 2. Basically, there was 2 guaranteed moves that Chris could make that would guarantee a checkmate with Overtflow having 0 defense outside of shaking the hand to end the game a little bit earlier. So he really needed to win the boxing in this round.
Chris is... But that's because I'm aware how bad his position is.
But I think the round went very similar to the first round. To the surprise of many. I think people thought this round would start and Overtflow would just bring out the beast in him.
This was real bad.
But he really only had this one move that he kept going for, which is like this sweeping right hook.
Boxing, right?
He did it like
That's
many
because I'm
times.
aware how bad his position is.
And Chris was very good at dodging it.
Over-the-shoulder hook landed by Overtflow. Switching stance again back to regular.
Yeah, he's got a minute and 10 seconds to put this away.
And both fighters showing good feints. Feints are great to get your opponent to react to something, to see how they'll...
Now, I thought what he might do is he might... Because Chris was like he was spamming footwork. Chris was like running around the arena like, you know, like the Roadrunner when he runs in the air and then he looks down, or like the Wile E. Coyote. The feet are going yabba dabba doo. But I thought what might happen is Overtflow might feint a big right hook and then just hit him with like a huge left uppercut, and Chris might lean into it.
Do it.
That's what I was nervous about.
Feint. So you feint a jab, you see they tense up too much, you know what to throw the next time around. So both opponents are feeling each other out. Overtflow is definitely going to the lead hook a lot. He's landed that a lot, and if it isn't broken, don't fix it, right? He keeps going back to it. Big swing and a miss. Chris got his number that time, backed up just out of range.
But I always thought Chris was doing a good job. Look at his fucking calves, dude. Look at his calves. Dude, what the hell? No wonder he was so quick on the feet. Oh my God. Look at those things.
And overt.
Look at those.
Lead hook that had been working for him.
That looks
over
like my
and over again.
thigh.
I want to reiterate your point, Levy. As you said, the chess position is so bad for White that he has to make up the damage in the boxing.
Yes, but does he know that? That's the question.
I
Does
think
he know how
has
bad
to.
it
He
is?
has
Because he's fighting like he's
Ooh.
a Mortal Kombat character. I mean, he stands like hands down.
And then a clean hit leads to an immediate standing count
but
by
he's
this
got
6'8"
25
ref.
seconds to apply some pressure right now. Well, we do have our first stoppage, right, Matt?
Yep.
Chris is like, yeah, I'm fucking here.
Yep. So one stoppage for Overtflow. It looks like Chris is fine, though. He's ready to continue. Gloves touch. We're right back into the action. And low time on the clock. Only 15 seconds to go for these two fighters in the boxing round.
Overtflow has looked great this round.
Yeah, he did get the standing count, but it doesn't matter.
I think what Chris did that was really good that a lot of people forgot to do is he kept his gloves up the entire time and he kept moving the entire time. Like a lot of people try to take a breather in the ring and you just don't really have that opportunity, but I feel like Chris was good at always having some defense up.
Unless he's able to convert that in the third round of boxing to 4 total standing counts.
That's
TKO.
correct. 3 knockdowns in a round is tough. So if he doesn't get another one in this last 1 second, which he didn't.
Whoa.
A little grappling, maybe from that jiu-jitsu background at the end.
And so now it should be GG. All right, Chris lasted through the boxing round. He has mate in 2. All he has to do is find the checkmate, and then he wins.
Checkmate in 2 moves.
Wait. What?
Yeah.
Show me.
Well, we're gonna get it. Oh well, hold on.
Hey,
Hold on a minute.
Pump the brakes on this.
All right.
Make sure that bell rings and that music's on.
Yes, and
They
we
have the soundproof headphones on,
Yes,
so
we
they're
have
not
a
able
bird's eye
to
view.
hear
It's
us.
Black's move, and White has knight to h7 check, and he's
So what Levy was saying is that he can go knight to h7 check, a.k.a. the knight right here can go all the way here. It checks the king. If he checked the king right here, the king, when checked by a knight, has to either capture the knight or move. So then the king would move over 1 more square. After he moves over 1 more square, the queen could peacefully capture this knight. There would be another check with nothing to interpose, no way to capture the queen. GG, checkmate, it's over. Instead, what Chris did is the right move at the wrong time. He could have made that queen captures knight move 1 turn later after doing the knight check, and he would have won. Instead, he did the queen capture.
7 check, and he's given up his queen?
Yeah. He just gave up his queen. An Overtflow touched the mouth, and he's like, oh. And then immediately captures the queen with the king, because the queen, can be captured. And the king is allowed to capture pieces.
He gave up his queen! He gave up his queen. He had mate in 2 on the board.
Oh, that fatigue, those lead hooks coming into play, giving away the queen, giving away his advantage.
God. He had mate in 2. I was waiting so long to not say anything because they could hear me. Oh, my gosh. He lost his queen in 2.
Incredible.
And then that's kind of a throwaway move from Overtflow because he's down in time. But you can see Chris is already shaking his head because he knows he is fucked up in a tremendous way.
He just had his queen take the piece defending the king.
Yeah, knight check.
Now, here we go. Let's see if he can keep his composure and come back from this. It's all about making a mistake and moving on, not dwelling on it, not living in the past.
He has nothing. He has nothing here. His pieces have no way forward now because every square is covered and his rooks are stuck behind pawns.
You can see how bad it is based off this graph right here. It shows that Black is winning by 12 pieces, which is a phenomenal lead.
Black is completely winning.
He
had a queen, Ludwig.
All right, well, he can do it again, man. Believe.
I mean, yeah, the pawns can promote, but good luck here. I'm so stressed out, but he is bringing the rook. And in 50 seconds worth of time, I'm looking at the timer, Overtflow has stalled. He has moved his pieces back and forth.
Yep.
All right, he is not trying to take the fight to White. White actually can still win this game. You are right, but it's, the chess gods have to watch.
It's going to be a lot tougher, and the fact of the matter is it doesn't feel like there will be a conclusive ending in the chess round this time, in this next...
Now, this is what pissed me off this entire fucking game, is this A2 pawn. This made me so mad. For the entirety of the game, this A2 pawn was completely undefended. It could have been captured by the rook on A2, on A3, on A4, 100 times over. And it just sat there. They just sat there staring at each other.
Last 50 advantage type of plays. Opponent run over
in 50 seconds.
And then the chess ends. They go to their third round of boxing, which is a little bit more of the same. Nobody having a clear knockdown. I would say Overtflow had a bit of an edge, looked like the better fighter, but never got big damage on Chris.
He's more urgent
like
now,
Chris's damage was pretty good
He wants
here.
to prove himself.
His
in
defense
the
was
ring.
great.
He has trained for 6 months. When he got that health report in Japan, he turned his life around, and this is his moment to show the gains that he has made.
Summoning everything he has in this last boxing round. A great counterpunch lands by Overtflow, but Chris is not backing down. He's still coming forward. He's still throwing jabs, trying to get inside the range of Overtflow.
Oh,
big
overhand right
by Chris.
I think Chris is his like fervorish blocks were actually kind of good. Like he was scatter-footed and like he kept blocking and like counter jabbing, and it was pretty good at stopping Overtflow from getting
The
in.
way Overtflow moves, walking hands down, big hooks. It's like fighting a Dark Souls monster.
Yeah.
Yo.
That's what I said. It's like a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what do you do?
Chris is running around the ring trying to find an opening. It's a clear difference in fighting styles, and about 40 seconds remains. Each of these guys have their final 40 seconds to prove what they've got in this ring.
That's right, and it is a legit style. Fighting with your hands down, baiting shots. It's a counter punch style. I want you to try to hit me so that you open yourself up, and I can come back with a shot when you open up your hole.
What'd you say?
25 seconds. They're going to have to put what they have on the line. Tell me what you're seeing here, Matt.
Yeah, another lead hook lands for Overtflow. That is his go-to punch, and it is still working for him. They're both pawing at each other, finding distance, finding timing.
Smiling, too.
Winding up that right hand.
It's like a 1930s comic.
Or like DK from Smash, right? Whoop, 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 whoop. Bam!
You got that
5
whoop
seconds
sound.
remaining in the boxing for this matchup.
2 seconds.
1.
And time.
That is it.
Bell rings. Andrew McGregor steps between the two fighters. Back to their corners, gloves come off, and this match will be settled on the chessboard. Let's see how.
Now this is where I have to give you some insider info. This is the first fight to go all 7 rounds, and it was going to be decided by chess. Now Overtflow had a lead in chess, a pretty sizable lead. He was winning by 12 points, aka like the value of 12 pawns or 4 bishops, 4 knights, whatever, after capturing Chris's queen after Chris threw it away. But he was low in time. And I talked to PJ, a.k.a. Overtflow, after this fight at the after party. And he said, oh, yeah, I thought that the last round was 4 more minutes of chess, so I thought I would get more time.
Going to start with Chris's first move. Talk to me about the board, Levy.
Yeah, this is not a good position for White, let's put it this way. But when you consider that Black does not have a lot of time on the clock, about 1.5 minutes in a 4-minute round, that also is not a good situation. It's going to come down to the buzzer of the player.
I don't think the chess clock was even working.
Yeah, we'll see if
he said, listen.
An outpost, a pawn protecting a power piece, and that was broken up by Chris Broad, taking that pawn, that protector, with his knight.
Black.
This is crazy to me. This is so fucking crazy to me.
out in
the board. Overtflow had an
or checkmate. Those are the 3 ways it can happen.
That's right, and right in the middle of the board, Overtflow had an outpost, a pawn protecting a power piece.
Dude, that was the crazy. This was crazy. Overtflow moves his knight here, right? And then Chris has a rook that's stopping this pawn from promoting with nothing defending the pawn. He moves his rook over 2 squares to where it is completely open and attacked, and it immediately gets captured.
Winner, either by timeout.
I think he made what must be the worst move in the book right here.
Or checkmate. Those are the 3 ways it can happen.
Look, he grabs the rook, moves it over. Instantly, Overtflow just captures the rook. Nothing Chris can do.
Taking that pawn, that protector, with
captures it backwards to the bishop, but that's a losing trade because you're getting a bishop for a rook. It's just a loss.
Black has 1 minute and 10 seconds
Levy, right
remaining.
here. The knight is blocking F2.
Oh, he took the rook. Oh, no, that is a massive, massive mistake by White. And by the way,
why?
Oh, he lost the rook. And hello. That's you know what happens when the opponent gets to the other side of the board. Oh my goodness, Black is completely winning, but he has no time to prove it.
And that pawn is just sitting there. Now, the way the time format works is 5 minutes, and that's all you fucking get. You don't get any time added per move. There's no real flagging that you can do because it's not like you get seconds added. I mean, you can if you're kind of a pro, but you just get 5 minutes. That's it.
Doesn't defend the pawn advancing. he could get a queen right now, and
yes, he can.
doesn't.
But he doesn't. He doesn't, and he hasn't pressed the clock. He hasn't pressed the clock.
Crazy,
guys! He hasn't pressed the clock.
He made it.
He should just sit there and think,
He's moving the wrong pawn. He's just moving the wrong. There's no reason to move that pawn. If you're moving a pawn, move the one that's going to promote. It's a promotion with a check too.
There he did it.
Chris just helped him out.
50 seconds on Overtflow's clock right
and what's
now.
the match time? Like, how much? What's the match clock situation? We don't
moving
even know.
He's moving his other
Dude,
pawn.
he moved the pawn on the right file.
His pawn is on the board, and they can queen.
They both did. What is going on?
Oh my God, it's right there. It's right there. You can get a queen, dude.
There's 2 total minutes left on the match clock. There will be a winner guaranteed. 45 seconds for over.
Every move is
get it. I don't get
not
it.
the pawn getting
I don't
queen.
get it.
Yeah, he doesn't see it. He simply doesn't see it. Oh my gosh, he can have another queen on the board right now.
I think both these players, so I think Chris is about a 600 rated chess player. I think Overtflow is about a 400 chess player. And they both lost 600 rating points when they got punched in the face. So we're working with a 0 rated chess player against a negative 200 rated chess player right now.
Looks like Chris moved his king up so there can be no attacks in the back rank, which might even stop Overtflow from noticing what he has.
And by the way, you see there's 2 queens on the side of the board? That is literally for this situation.
Yeah.
So if you have 1 queen on the board, you can get a second one.
I wonder if Chris is just like poker facing this, like knows it's there but knows he hasn't watched it. He's just letting it be.
90 seconds remaining overall, and how much time for Black? About 30 seconds, if I'm seeing that correctly.
My heart
35
is
seconds
racing.
left for Black.
35.
So Black has to win by checkmate, or it's over. Black has to win by checkmate, or this entire round is over, right?
All right, Chris is advancing the bishop.
Oh, he hasn't pressed the clock. He hasn't pressed the clock.
Check.
He's not pressing the clock.
And that was such a fucking great move. Right here's the only interaction where Chris was 5-head because Chris touches this
Win by
bishop.
checkmate.
And then Overtflow instantly says, oh, well, you touch a piece, you got to move the piece.
Or it's over.
And you can hear him. He goes, "Gotta move it, gotta move it."
Black
So,
has to win
so
by checkmate,
Chris
or
is
this
like, "All right, fuck it, I will move the bishop." Moves the bishop directly into the line of fire. It's immediately attacked by a pawn. Initially, you'd think a terrible move, but there's an appealing move that Overtflow sees where he not only gets a knight, but he also gets a check on the king.
Entire round is over, right?
All right, Chris is advancing the bishop.
Oh, he hasn't pressed the clock. He hasn't pressed the
And
clock.
something very hard for people to see is a backwards capture, which is what Chris immediately does.
He's not pressing the clock.
Gets the queen back.
He didn't press the clock. Overtflow with so many technical errors. 24 seconds
24
remaining.
White has to move. White just has to go. 1 minute remaining on the match
moving,
clock.
Chris.
And 20 seconds remaining for Black, but now less than a minute for White as well.
Now, Chris has really nothing here. Even though he was able to capture the queen, there's a promotion that can happen for another queen. There's 2 rooks on the board. He has a bishop, and Chris, in return, only has 1 rook.
Someone will be crowned a winner, whether it's in 21 seconds or a minute. We have not yet seen. Both rooks are
Coming
deep
into play.
into territory for Overtflow.
Oh, no. Chris has to move. Chris has to make a move.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
a check comes into play.
Oh, no.
He's going to move the
There's a
king.
chance White loses on time. This is one scenario we haven't even considered. White might lose the game on time. It's going to be
Moves.
so close.
Avoids
30
the check.
seconds remaining.
15 seconds left for Black.
As long as he keeps making moves, Chris goes to defend the pawn. He's going to, oh, he doesn't make the rooks into a file. 12 seconds for Overtflow.
Oh, my gosh.
A take by the pawn. King takes.
Now, that, I think, was the biggest mistake Overtflow made. He was making up a lot of his time, but for him to tunnel vision on this pawn here and capture it,
seconds for Overtflow.
that pawn can't do shit, and it's almost a good thing to have in front of you when you have your king here. Actually, no, it's not. No, I'm capping. No, it actually would have been good. No, it would have been good. It would have been bad if there was if this was a queen, but it's fine because there's no way to get checked by the rook. So it defends you from any check by rook, and it keeps the file blocked. And even if he goes in right here for a rook check at the end, at h8, then he can just capture the pawn after. So it's just good to have it in front.
Overtflow.
It acts as a shield in a
take by
way,
the
yeah.
Pawn. King takes
10 seconds to go for Black.
remaining for Black.
But Chris, at this point, all he cares about is stalling out Overtflow's time. His eyes are trained on the clock. So all he's doing is trying to find checks and make sure he's avoiding mates.
And a check by White.
Oh, and he doesn't see it.
Oh, no,
That's an illegal move.
That's an error.
Illegal
That's
move.
an error. It's a check. Judge comes in.
Illegal move.
Illegal move. Overtflow moved his rook when he was in check. Overtflow's going to have to stop that. Oh, my God.
We're taking it back.
So
Only 8 seconds left for Black.
Holy shit. There's 6 seconds, 8 seconds.
We're resetting the time.
Oh, my
Right back to
fucking God.
before the illegal move.
So many pieces on Black.
Here we go. 6 to go.
5.
He has to make a move.
Wait, no, not yet. Blocks.
4 seconds.
Check by Black Rook.
A discovered check, but he doesn't.
And that was such a good discovered check. I thought that discovered check was fucking genius.
4 seconds.
Check by Black.
Because like if you're back in this scenario,
5.
He has to make a move.
Wait, no.
like right here, this was actually a very a good awareness from Chris to know that this rook was defended by the bishop. This bishop's very sneaky, and so it was defended. So he had to capture with the rook, which he correctly does.
Block.
In this spot, Overtflow should use the bishop to capture probably, but he doesn't do that.
4 seconds.
Instead, he goes for this protected check,
By Black Rook.
which leads to the discovered check, which was so sick.
Discovered check, but he doesn't recognize another mistake from Overtflow.
And it wouldn't have even mattered because if you
A
look,
discovered check, but he doesn't recognize.
before he even hit the clock, it hit 0 seconds. That black flag right here, it just looks like a rectangle. This is a flag. It means you lost. And so this popped up before he even hit the button.
Recognize another mistake from Overtflow.
So it didn't even matter.
On by time.
That's a win.
What gets it? Let's hear it. From Spud in the white corner down to the final seconds of the match.
I was pumped for Chris, dude. I was fucking pumped for him. He said on his podcast, and he said after that he's still a little disappointed in his win because he would have loved to have shown more in the boxing ring. And if he did this again, which he said he might be down for, he would want to train a lot more boxing. But I think a win's a win at the end of the day, and that was pretty fucking hype.
He had
Pretty fucking hype, you know?
Business winning after blundering the queen.
The queen, and there was another queen blunder. The pawn could have become a queen.
Don't forget losing the boxing rounds. He literally lost everything except for the time, and he won on time.
Holy shit, my heart rate was raising. And what a smart play by Chris. Although at the end there, he did have no advantage except for time. He made a discovered check with his rook when he moved the king out of the way. An overt.
Great fight. Great fight. Great fight. Great man. Good fight. And that leads us to our next one, which I think was a really fun fight to watch. Hugs versus Toph.
And we'll give you high-quality chess and hopefully high-quality boxing. I mean, they've taken it very, very seriously. They're in great shape. One cut weight, one gained some muscle, and this is like the peak of both of these sports coming together. Maybe not the boxing. There's better boxers.
Taking a shot at Hugo. How in the fuck you still losing the Dreppen? It's truly upsetting. I've been stomping that dude since 07.
I like that they both walked out to different chillin' dude raps.
Alex and shoot that. I'm leaving them dudes flat. You can't even do that. Don't get me wrong, we ain't talking bad players, but you can't even sleep without nightmares. Pull it back.
Damn, that stare was kind of hard.
Comeback like 2 stocks with Sopo. Get back to labbing. If you spend some time playing it, you might stop losing the Falcon and maybe even the Gannon. I still have faith. Get back to the big stage.
Matt,
Before
you've
that.
done athletic collabs with these guys. Talk to me.
And in the black corner, weighing in at 165 pounds. At
Make this pussy stop talking. I'm not
the
one of the
Dream
gods.
Hack
I'm one of
Dallas
the god awful.
2019 World Champion, Dignitas Hugs.
Now the thing about this, I think Hugs was super favored in the boxing, and I also favored him going into it. Not because Toph wasn't training hard. I know Toph was training very hard, but it's because Hugs was doing so much sparring against Stanz and bigger dudes. Like Hugs was sparring against people who are 180, 190 pounds and holding his own. And so for him to then go up against a less practiced, weaker opponent was like, you know, it's kind of like Rock Lee, take the fucking the weights off.
Time again, I've asked him like repeatedly, we'll remain friends. They've said
it's all over.
Early.
I'm pretty sure the chess was pretty bad for Hugs, right?
There was stuff out of it instantly.
Now, what does this tactic gain you here?
So he won a pawn, and he's weakened the black king substantially, and he's played every move instantly, which means really bad. He's memorized this before the game even began.
That's right, and he has the potential to take away Hugs' take with his.
He's going to try to avoid that.
General strategy for Hugs advantageous.
Yeah, the chess went super well, actually.
Hugo
rewatching
Hugs
this
prepared for boxing. He knew exactly how much time to use in order to maximize his time in the ring, and we're about to see him be able to use that advantage right now.
Yeah, Toph got 40 seconds of advantage with a superior position on the chessboard and a piece advantage within the first 2 minutes. So I think Toph had a clear game plan, which is survive in the boxing and then beat him in the chess.
Yeah, Toph got an early lead in the chess. And
it just turns out that it's a lot harder to survive in the boxing than most people would tell you.
Keeping the rules intact, and we are
90 seconds on the clock. First of possible 3 rounds of boxing. Toph's been training a little bit longer in the boxing, but Hugs has been training with much tougher opponents, sparring against Stanz.
You can already see the leg differences, right? Like, Hugs is very strong on his feet, throwing steady punches.
I really like...
Hugs was so confident in the ring. Do you know how stressful it is to have somebody 2 gloves on fucking coming at you? All you want to do is try to run away from it, try to back up as much as you can. Hugs just kept walking up like a lumbering giant. He was a beast. They should have worn headgear. So the way it worked for safety protections is that I was down for any safety protection as long as they both agreed to it. Like, there's some other events that said no headgear because, or they tried not to do headgear because you can see the fighters' faces. But I was always like, I don't give a shit. Wear headgear. I don't give a fuck. Wear a cup. Wear whatever you want. But both people have to do it. And if one person wants headgear and the other doesn't, then you're both doing headgear. I feel like it doesn't make sense to default for the least safe thing. I feel like you should always default for the safest thing. But I think headgear doesn't really do what people think it does. Like, headgear is not like the end all in terms of protection. I believe, and this is from boxers who told me this, headgear only helps you for like cuts. Like, it prevents cuts. It does not prevent the feeling of a punch to your head. It does not prevent concussions. It just prevents cuts and bruises on your face, which is still valuable. But I think people think with headgear on that there's going to be no concussions, you're going to be fine. No. It's not how it works. Not from my mouth, from the boxers who I spoke with.
Like Hugs' head movement. He is slipping side to side, working his way inside of Toph's reach. A nice bully of a jab coming in.
Ooh, to the body as well.
Past the guard of Toph. Toph good with his nice quick jab, keeping a nice slip and lead hook.
What a fucking right hook.
Big shot. Stoppage. First stoppage for Hugo. What a freaking land. 2 crosses come right over the top of the lead hand for Toph and land clean on the chin. Andrew steps in to give a stoppage, and we're back to the action.
Now, the first one was a few big hits. Toph immediately looks at the ref. He's like, I'm fine. Let's go. And he looks ready to run it. Like, it looks like those hits didn't hurt him as much as they looked like they hurt him.
Oh my God. Just to fill everybody in watching at home, you get max 3 stoppages in a round. If they have 3 stoppages, it's a technical knockout. 4 in the total.
Another big right hand lands over the top.
That's the second stoppage. Yep, the second stoppage of the round. He has 1 more to go before the round is over.
And I love the pacing.
Now, Toph tries to say to the ref here, I'm good. Let's keep the fight going. But the ref, when he waves it off, calls the fight.
Oh, and the fight is over.
And there it is, called.
Waved it off.
Looking in the eyes of Toph, seeing the stun. It is called in the first boxing round for Hugo. Toph totally heartbroken.
Now, I think in the moment, I was like, that was a bit early. I think they could have played on. But on hindsight, I think it was a great call. Because there was still 30 seconds left in that round. And if you get 3 standing counts in a round, it's a TKO. Those 2 standing counts happened within about 15 seconds of each other. I think what would have happened if they fought on is there would have been a 3rd standing count, maybe a knockdown, maybe a knockout. But I do think that there was a clear pattern. And I don't think the defense was there for that. You know, after getting punched in the face, after being a little more tired, he would have been able to defend against another Hugs attack. So I think it was a good call. You got to understand, these are not trained fighters. Like, Toph is a guy I've looked up to for fucking years now. He's I used to make a parody account. I had an account called Unfiltered Toph. I think you can still find on Twitter. That was just memes of Toph because I liked him as a Smash commentator. And so it's like, I don't think you're supposed to say, hey, let's keep these fights going as long as possible for these career boxers to keep going and improving themselves. It's like, nah, let's err on the side of caution at all times. And I'm glad that it was waved off. Like, I think that was a good call by the ref. And although I know Toph, unlike some other boxers who might not have put the time in, did put the time in, Hugs just had a really, really good knack for boxing. And his training was a lot more effective, I think, than Toph's training because of all the sparring sessions he did against bigger opponents. So he got too good in a short period of time and looked terrifying. So I think good call by the ref there, and a very quick TKO in the first round of boxing, which honestly pretty exciting to watch. And that leads us to another TKO in the first round of boxing. This is one of the most hyped up matches of the night. Amman versus Trent. Thought it was wild to come out with a live rap. It turns out the guy who was rapping was also like a 2200 rated chess player, which is crazy to me. Now, this was Lawrence, who was big in chess boxing, talked a lot of shit, going up against Grandmaster of Chess, Amman Hamilton.
I have zero idea.
The idea for this one, pretty much anytime somebody had an advantage in chess, the other person had an expected advantage in boxing. That was the idea. This was also the same exact thought process. All right, there was an advantage in chess for Amman, and so you guys all thought that Lawrence would have an advantage in boxing and beat him. I'm just gonna show you guys a poll that you predicted before the fight. This was you guys. 72% voted in favor of Trent. 27% voted in favor of Amman. Interesting.
About the boxing. No clue.
Interesting.
And, hey, I think the crowd's right there with us. It looks like a 51%, maybe 52% to 48% in favor of Trent. Very, very close. It's basically a toss-up at this point. The crowd doesn't know. The only known variables are that there's a slight advantage. Now, talk to me. What's GM versus IM? How big of a difference is that actually?
None.
Now, they play a bit of chess. The chess is about as boring and average as you can get. No real advantage. And then the boxing starts.
Matches, then nice clean jab landed from Congo Frizzi, the head of the Italian Chessboxing Federation and head of rules and regulations for the World Chessboxing Organization.
Oh, we start early?
Nice clean jab landed from big right hand, big left hand.
This is not what I expected.
Coming up with a big flurry. Both landing shots.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's caught him.
It's crazy that these are two of the best chess players in the world. Isn't that crazy?
Still landing left and right is Amman. Lawrence sneaking in jabs. Big shots landed for both fighters. So another big. Oh my God, the first knockout of the match. Bofago giving the standing 8 count for Lawrence Trent. Amman hyped as hell in his corner.
That was a massive left hand from Amman Hamilton.
We knew going in he was the better chess player, but I did not know he was the better boxer.
Now, they decide to play on. Obviously, a knockdown is the same as a counting knockdown in the sense that you're only allowed 3, but maybe the ref takes it a little more seriously because he believes in you a little less and your ability to defend yourself. But let's just replay that flurry because that was probably the biggest combo of the night. Like, it was the most connections in the only knockdown, I think, like the actual knockdown, not a standing knockdown, of the night.
Both landing shots.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's caught him.
Still landing left and right is Amman. Lawrence sneaking in jabs. Big shots landed for both fighters. So
he gets 3 back-to-back. And right here, I mean, Lawrence looks a little bit lost, right? Like, I think that combo was brutal.
Is Amman. Lawrence sneaking in jabs. Big shots landed for both fighters.
Big left, big right, and then big left hook to finish it. I mean, that was clean, and that was literally all maximum damage. It seems like Lawrence had, maybe just because of the adrenaline, the rush, his defense was like stick out his hands, push him off, but his reach wasn't big enough, and he also, as you can see, was splitting Amman's head, not actually making contact, as opposed to defending by keeping his hands tight to his body so that if a glove was coming, it would hit his glove instead of his head. So Alfonso decides to continue it. That's our Italian ref. He continues it here, and then they continue again.
He was the better chess player, but I did not know he was the better boxer.
Back to business. Lawrence landing 2 jabs to keep Amman at bay.
Amman's looking for the finish with 45 seconds on the clock.
And halfway through the boxing round.
No defense to be seen from either.
Lawrence grapples, comes to recover, separates.
And the more I look at it on replay, I think his plan, right, Lawrence that is to outstretch the arms and grapple to get into a hug scenario so that the ref would break it up so that he could go back and get some space, because it gets you space, right? Because the center of the ring's what you need to control. So if you're hugging and you're grappling, it's like Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather. They split up. You get a little bit of space between each other. Clinch to have some rest. Yeah. But what is actually happening is that he wasn't getting in enough, and then in the clinch, there was a lot of damage being done by Amman.
And back to action. All right, a little bit slower pace coming back.
30 seconds. They're going to be a little more tired right there at this point, Matt.
Oh, a couple of big punches from Lawrence.
Lawrence finds his distance, lands a clean cross right over the top, right on the chin of Amman. Oh, a good slip and counter right for Amman.
Oh, he hurt him. Oh, the referee steps in.
And it just feels like the hits that Lawrence was getting didn't stop Amman's attack. And anytime Amman had a really good attack, Lawrence's only defense was outstretched arms.
Giving him a second count.
Oh, the fight's over! It is all over! Amman Hamilton by TKO!
Now, initially, Lawrence was very upset about this being stopped and a TKO being called. But he said it in his own words, so I won't use mine. After having time to cool off and see the fight back, the ref made the correct call. I was stumbling and was hurt. I will be back fighting again soon, as I feel like I got caught early and wasn't able to show the work I've done over the past months. Which I think is the right call, too. There's like a lot of moments in that where he's stumbling, walking around. If you're stumbling, walking, then with a man with 2 fists and a mean combo like Amman in the ring with you is not a good combination. I think it was a great call by the ref. And I think safer for everybody involved.
Master Amman.
Second.
Oh, he hurt him. Oh, the referee steps in.
You can see it at the end.
Giving him a second.
Like, I think you just can't be stumbling and walking around like that, and then in the good conscience of the ref, them allow it to continue. Especially when, again, it's not career fighters. Which wrapped up the GM versus IM match in surprising fashion. I really did not think it would happen like that. And it led us to what I think is everybody's match of the night. Maybe the main event actually is the match of the night, but certainly one of the best matches of the night. Dina versus Andrea. Dina versus Andrea was fucking hype. This was the most recent card added to all 10 cards, including the secret slap boxing card. It was added by Matt Thomas. He's the one who's in contact with Dina, because I didn't know Dina. And then he had someone else who he's like, yeah, this is a person that's also thinking about chess boxing. And then he hit up Andrea. Now, I hit up Andrea like 8 months ago. Like 8 months ago, I hit up Andrea. I was like, hey, do you want to do this? And she's like, nah, I can't. I'm busy. Because she was originally kind of excited after watching some other boxing events. But she had something going on in December. And it just so happened that like 2 weeks before Matt hit up Dina to do it, Andrea's schedule cleared. And she hit me up to do the fight. And so that's how it started. They both had about a month of training, and Dina talked a lot of shit online, saying that Andrea would have to do podcasts after because her face would be so fucking ugly from how bad she was about to bash it in, which was pretty badass words.
Actually thinks because she doesn't want to face it. Yeah. Bishop F4, another London system.
Now, the chess was a London system. It's a pretty boring, straightforward system. We have the bar on the right here. This shows who's in the lead. And after 2 minutes, the answer is fucking no one, because it's a London system. It's boring. It's standard. It's basic.
Okay. All right.
Great start because of the time advantage.
The only real thing that matters is that Dina had an extra 40 seconds on the clock, which does matter, but there was no piece advantage. And then starts the actual boxing.
Ready to go in.
For this.
If they stop.
30 seconds.
And some punches.
Call it.
And Andrea goes out swinging.
Underway. Dina and Andrea. Andrea coming out with big jabs, throws a big overhand right, a whiff, and some punches.
And I think you see Dina doing a lot of the same things Lawrence was doing, which I think might just be like innate human behavior when you are being attacked is like, whoa, 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 put the hands out, back the face away. But it turns out that's not very effective when you're trying to stop someone with 2 fists that know how to use them.
Landed to the temple.
for Andrea. Nice and busy with the jab is Dina, using her advantage.
A strong overhand right from Andrea.
A lot of early swings. Remember, both these competitors very new to the sport of boxing. A max of 6 weeks of experience.
Strong right hand lands for Dina right down the middle, timing her opponent as she opens. Spinning mud. Right hand lands for Dina right down the middle, timing her opponent as she opens. Spinning the mud. Turn around and windmill. That is not allowed.
What is this, UFC?
That was
It is an octagon, Levy.
Wow.
Another jab. Oh! Big hook lands, lead hook for Andrea. One to the body.
Dina's now wide open.
Starting to
She's
set in.
succeeding.
A jab snaps the head back at Dina.
Oh, I'm not seeing that broken nose coming out. How do you feel, Matt?
Still is Andrea. I see the gas tank of Dina going a little bit
30
slower.
seconds.
Andrea's
Close your
super
wrist.
high energy.
Yeah, it seems like Andrea has not slowed down. Her stamina, one of her greatest traits.
Now, although Andrea had the pressure on and had Dina on the back foot the entire time, you see that she has so many huge swings that just kind of whiff.
Before boxing, she was huge into
like a lot of shit's connecting, but there's a lot of like kill shots that are just barely off, and it seems like she's putting all power but not like accurately throwing them.
His content, and she seems to have no signs of slowing down.
Yeah. Good jab up the middle by Andrea. A big
like right there, these big swings that she's doing.
sweeping hook goes just wide.
15 seconds to go.
Low time.
Whoa, seems like Dina's just hoping for the 10 seconds to wrap up.
Right.
Oh!
And there it is. 10 seconds left. Final seconds of the round coming up. 3, 2, 1. Time.
And I don't say it to say that Andrea was bad. I say it to say if those connected, I think there's a good chance that this fight would have been determined by knockout or TKO. But that's not what ended up happening because so many of them missed. And Dina did really good not to get tagged with a standing count in round 1. But you can see it. It hurt her. Look
Some
at
water
this.
from her coach. Helmet is coming off. They're about to go back to the chest.
Andrea looks like unaffected. Andrea looks like she ran a half mile.
Just looking at the body language.
Dina looks like she finished a half marathon.
This reminds me of the second Smash fight when you could see on the stool the exhaustion, the inability to
Kalindi versus Fiction, where he was leaning over, trying to get some breath when he could. Andrea standing up straight. Here's a couple Star Force replays. You could see the hits connecting from Andrea.
Dina's jabs also just didn't seem to stop Andrea at all. I think they had no power behind him.
There was a lot.
I think it was just like a hand out that Andrea would run into, and then she'd be like, oh, that's cool, and then just throw a big fucking swing.
And even if they didn't connect, just the impact against the gloves, right, Matt? The impact against the headgear. You just saw Dina backing up a lot. She is fatigued. She hasn't had enough time to get hey.
That was
yeah, if she had bigger power on that left, I think that would have been a standing count.
So Dina backing up a lot. She is fatigued. She hasn't had
Because
enough
that
time.
right hook was mean.
Hey.
That left hook just
That was
seemed
that
like a pat
big
on the head.
combo, the jab, and that
4-punch combination all landed clean. Hooks and uppercuts. Inside fighter is on.
Now, I will say, Andrea, when I spoke to her after only 2 weeks of training, and it was off the record, she was like, I'm worried I'm going to beat Dina's ass too hard. And I was like, She's like, yeah, I'm pretty fucking fit. And I was like, And so I kind of expected her to be leading like she was. But what I didn't expect is although Dina was getting her ass beat, she played fucking phenomenal in chess. She played as though she wasn't in a boxing fight that was going very poorly. She played like she wasn't in a boxing match at all. Because the chess came back and it's like nothing ever happened. Dina immediately extends her time advantage from 40 seconds to almost a minute.
Take this night, I take this night, and I've opened up an attack on this king. I mean,
As well as making like a good tactical play to control the middle with her queen that was like looking at the king.
Dina's really trying a time to land a fatal.
Sometimes it wakes you.
Dina's launching everything. I mean, Dina's very well could win this in the next chess round.
And after the second chess round, Dina got almost 2 minutes on the clock. Like, it doesn't look like there's a good positional advantage, but Dina, according to Levy, had a lot of great opportunities to attack because the king was in this right corner that, you know, you could bring over the knight, you could, the bishop here, you have the queen that you can bring over, and Andrea had 2 minutes, 8 seconds in a hope.
Dina's going
to attack back on red table.
Unless Dina boxing round, she might put the game away in the next 10 moves. She has a very powerful attack brewing. Both players know that. So what
to survive this
guys can head over to Starforge on Twitter. They are giving away PCs that you can just have. You can have them if you go get them.
Second boxing round starts.
Beginning of the second boxing round.
Andrea bouncing on her toes.
Oh, Andrea's looking for a knockout, I feel as though. 100%. She's looking for a big punch.
Dina nice and busy with a jab.
Oh,
Andrea, big overhand right. Lands.
Oh,
Dina lands.
Oh,
lands. Back in for the hooks.
Dina always on her back foot. Andrea constantly keeping up the pressure.
Getting same hugs energy that Tyson back and forth. This bob and weave and peekaboo style. It's for Andrea working.
It's the tale of two sports.
Big counter punch landed for Dina right over the top.
Oh man, I think they're both getting a bit tired now.
Yeah,
a bit of a feeling.
I think there's a standing count in this round, right?
He says it. And there's a
wow, this is our
big
first
shot landed.
of the match, standing count. And for all the pressure that Dina applied in chess, Andrea is applying in boxing.
You want to continue? Touch hands, walk forward. Go, fight.
Okay.
And here we go, we're back on the way. One stoppage and back.
Andrea's intimidating. When Andrea gets low and she starts like walking in like that, that's intimidating.
Oh, to Andrea.
Right?
Another big grapple, some big hooks land.
Could have been lethal. Dina really gassed. She's going to need to show some more defense, otherwise the ref might
some
call
of these
something.
really dangerous shots are just barely missing Dina's helmet. I mean, like, one of those lands, we could see another stoppage here. And there's one.
Now, I think they're both incredibly tired, and I'm pretty sure this round ends with not a single other standing count. They break, they clinch, and then Dina's once again exhausted. And then begins the third chess round. So this is the replay.
No, I
really like the
third chess round.
Lopsided chessboard.
And like Levy said earlier, there was a huge advantage for Dina here to make an attack and win.
As Andrea takes a moment there, she's sitting there very conscious of the fact that she might win the fight in the next boxing round.
Now, the good news is that Andrea had 2 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock, and the round was 2 minutes total. So she was stalling as long as possible
and she has
to
the
be able to get to
opportunity
the
here
third
to make a
boxing
call.
round.
She has over 2 minutes on her clock. She could put it all on the final boxing round.
I mean, look how
Play
quickly
very
Dina
slow
played
with the
compared
chess,
to Andrea.
guaranteeing the
Of her king and a rook, but Dina is all in. She saw that coming. She did not make that mistake.
It's not an accident.
No, it was not an accident. She brought her queen. Look at Black's queen opposite White's king. That White king has nothing in front of it except pawns, which are about to be very brutally removed from
I think the eval bar was broken for this.
Calculating, should I take this rook? Should I go up material?
Guys,
or should I try to defend?
Black has 3 times the amount that on the clock that White has. It's a minute and 18 for Andrea as the attack is coming in. This
Dina's
is so close.
quick to make her moves.
Oh my gosh, guys, there is
And
a plan to go
halfway
here
through the round
and
already.
here, and it's mate. I'm not sure White can stop that.
Wait, what?
Queen in for Black, and that's what she's doing. That's what I think Black might be winning.
So, as Levy's saying, you have this knight move here. You bring knight over to g4, and then the knight defends this piece here, so the queen can just go in for a checkmate, and there's nothing that White can do because there's no piece in here to intercept, you know, and it's GG. And Andrea, I think, notices that. Andrea is also a very good chess player, so she goes for a check to stall a bit here, and you'll notice there's 53 seconds on the clock, and Andrea's not really going to do a lot.
I think Black might be winning this game.
Okay. Andrea might want to slow it down, then she might want to slow it down.
Oh, it's force mate! It's force mate! Black is completely winning.
Now, Andrea, I think, notices based off Dina maybe in her body position that Dina has something juicy here. You can see this lethal combination. So Andrea really slows it down.
Mate on the next move unless White sacrifices all of her pieces.
Which she might need to do at this stage, so hang on, 36
What
seconds.
piece does she have to sacrifice?
The next boxing round.
The only thing she can do is give checks. She has to stall. If she's smart, she's going to stall the clock out. Andrea cannot make any move.
She has to do a force check with her bishop.
Oh, that was smart. She took the pawn, so the knight.
Sacrificed.
Wait, but Dina missed mate in
There's
one.
a check.
And that's Dina missing mate in one.
Out. Andrea cannot make any move.
She has to do a force check.
So I don't. Okay, yeah. This was. Wait, did she miss? Why did Levy say she? Oh yeah, she did. So right here, the thought process was, okay, I can use this knight, that's Andrea, to capture this pawn, which defends this square, so the queen can't go here to check the king. And then instantly Dina recaptures that, like within a millisecond. But what Dina could have done, and I think that's what Levy pointed out, is that Dina could have brought the knight to f2, which would have checked the king here. The king can't move to this square because it's being attacked by the queen. The king can't move to this square because there's a pawn in the way, and it can't move to this square because there's a rook in the way, and nobody can kill that knight. So it would have just been a win outright.
Check with her bishop.
Oh, that was smart. She took the pawn, so the knight. Wait, but Dina missed mate in
There's
one.
a check.
And then she goes for a check over here, of course, trying to stall time. Andrea knows there's a checkmate coming, and she's been stalling as much of the time as she possibly could.
She can do another check.
Again, remember, she started with 2 minutes and 8 seconds in this round. There are 2 minutes total per round. 1 minute and 40 seconds has just been her.
She might need to do this check here. Again,
Guys,
30 seconds on the clock.
A couple moves ago, when the knight took the pawn, knight takes pawn was mate.
Only 8 seconds. Are we going to see another boxing round, ladies
Yes,
and
we
gentlemen?
are. Yes, we are. Dina misses checkmate in one move.
Andrea.
Now, the way it works is you're not allowed to totally stall in chess. Like, the ref arguably should have started a 10 count here. And the 10 count in chess works very simply. They start counting to 10. You have to make a move before 10 seconds or you lose. It wouldn't have mattered because the fact is that Andrea could have made a move. It's not like the next move is mate in 1. Although this is mate in 1 and there's nothing you can do to stop it, you can't slow it down by throwing out another check, by bringing out the bishop here, and then maybe the king takes. If the king takes, then I don't know, maybe you can bring out the queen for a check. Maybe the knight is possible. There's like still a few options, right? Like it's not totally fucked just yet. And so there's at least one move that she can make.
Gonna make a move.
Andrea.
There.
Oh my God.
Another boxing round. We're gonna see them go at it again. How about it, ladies and gentlemen?
Dina only used 9 seconds that round. Isn't that crazy? She used 9 seconds in that 2 minute round.
Oh my goodness.
The beauty of chess boxing. A move away. Andrea knows. It all comes down to this.
She literally.
And then we enter the most contentious, the most drama-filled boxing round of the night.
Seconds of the clock, final boxing round.
Into it. No touch of gloves.
Wow.
Bobbing and weaving, getting in tight.
Dina back.
He didn't know that. There's that overhand right.
Overhand right.
There's that overhand.
Clean connect.
Now, Andrea is very aware that the situation she's in is that there's a checkmate and 2 moves happening, and all she can do is knock out her opponent.
Chasing her around the ring.
And again,
Dina stayed away, being smart, playing defense. But boom, left hook.
Oh,
the temple.
our first count.
We got a standing
And two in the fight now.
That's 2 in the fight, but it doesn't matter. She needs to get 3 in this round or a knockdown.
Right. So 3.
And Dina, trying to be smart here, waits the entire 10 count to throw her fists up because the 10 count includes the time of the actual round. So you can see this clock is actually still ticking down. Then she goes, I'm ready. That's her first standing count.
1 minute left, back to the action.
30 seconds.
Another big right hand lands.
She has to defend herself. Dina has to prove that she can keep her gloves up to defend herself. Otherwise, the ref has to call it.
Yeah.
And she is intelligently defending. She's putting up her arms. She's preparing.
Oh, she throws a counter punch.
She does.
Oh!
It's looking like she might collapse here, though.
There's another stoppage.
It just breaks it up.
No count, breaking it up, and they're back to it. Doesn't count.
40 seconds. 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Andrea has to make something happen. She's throwing swings.
Dina running for the hills.
Out. Dina running around. She's got to be more.
Oh, what a hit.
That's it.
There's a stun. No.
This is the second one, the third of the match. If she gets 3 stoppages in the fight, it's over. 1 more stoppage and it's done.
20 seconds.
All right, second stoppage, puts the gloves up. 1 more stoppage and it's GG.
20 seconds. 18. 17. Andrea has to deliver the killing blow.
Good connect by Andrea.
10 seconds. Will she deliver the killing blow and win, or will she lose to checkmate?
Separate.
There's 5 seconds.
Now, the ref initially stops right here because of the clinch, right? Because they're just, so in each other's bodies and faces that they're not even boxing anymore.
Or will she lose to checkmate?
So the ref comes over and says, all right, back it off, back it off, back it off.
There's 5 seconds left.
And then looks over like, he's about to just move on with the fight and say, hey, start again. Like right here. Wait, hold up. Right here. This is my interpretation of it. And tell me if you think I'm wrong. So right here, he stops it. In his mind, I'm just breaking the clinch. They're going to continue fighting. Looks over at Dina. Dina, in the same moment that he looks over, puts her arms up on the ropes. And I think you can see these 2 people who are in Dina's corner saying, no, Grady, no. And then sees her resting, looks over Andrea to see if Andrea's resting, sees Andrea's not resting, and then because she's not prepared to fight, takes too long, starts the count.
Waited out time.
Counts 1. Immediately, the moment he counts 1, the bell rings.
Oh, there's the bell. Dina waited out time, survived the round, and we're going back to chess.
Oh my gosh.
And I think the confusion that happened there is because the bell rang. The bell should not ring when a count is going. Like, that is a mistake. You can blame the ref as much as you would like to do that. You can also, in this spot, blame the person who rang the bell, because you never count the bell. You never ring the bell while the count's happening. It's just wrong. You're supposed to let the bell, you stall the bell until the end of the count. Because if that was, for example, like the first count and the bell rang, maybe they don't defend themselves and then the fight's called right there. But after we talked, and we talked for, I swear to God, an hour, all right, with all the referees, including him and the other two refs, and then the chess boxing officials, and then also 2 chess boxing world champions, we came to the conclusion that that should have been the call. There should have been a win right there, and Andrea should have won.
Wow.
And the crowd, you can hear, agrees.
Furious. Now, it is a good point, Matt, that you said. The same way Andrea stalled the chess, knowing that a checkmate was coming.
However, that's not what happened in the moment. What happened in the moment is that the ref made the call. He was interrupted by the bell, went along with what the bell did. The bell person was like, I'm just doing my thing. The time's over. I rang the bell. And then everybody else who was involved with the production didn't think that this was overturned. Because this all happened back to us. I didn't see the count live.
Dina hugged, grappled. We've seen this in many fights, the Logan Paul fights.
I thought people were mad in the moment because she stalled and they thought it was lame. I didn't think people were mad because they saw a 4th count and thought that should be it.
Or she stalled out the boxing.
That's right. Using her advantage the same way.
Because, again, the ref was back to us, and we're watching, like, in person.
I knew she was spent on the chessboard. Dina knew.
I don't think the bell person screwed up. I think it was a combination of errors, and if you want to try to find one person to pin blame on, you're kind of missing the point, which is that there are many people who you could pin blame on, but there's also many people who could have corrected it in the moment, and since so many people didn't, that we went along with the fight, and Dina won the chess instantly, right? They sat down as a formality. There's only one thing that can happen here. Checkmate. Andrea resigns.
And she resigns.
GG.
She has resigned the game with checkmate incoming.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And it wasn't until the entire event was over, like literally over, the stream ended, I got out of my chair, that Jacob, the producer, came up to me and he was like, hey, by the way, Andrea thinks what happened was BS. And I was like, what? Because in my mind, I thought people were just mad because they thought Andrea was kicking ass, not because there was any reason within the rules that should make her the winner. Which is why we ended up tweeting the next day after talking this, which was us awarding a belt to Andrea but not reversing the decision. And I stand by it. I still think it would be really bullshit to reverse a decision. I think if it's not made in the moment, you cannot reverse it unless it was made like right there and someone saw it and made the call. It's bullshit to reverse the decision. I think reversing a decision is pussy shit because it's like we fucked up, and I don't think Dina's the one who needs to pay for us fucking up. I think it's brain dead to be like, oh, so the producers, the officials, the bell person, the referee didn't make the call. We played on, Dina won, and now we take away Dina's belt? Really? How is Dina the one who's getting punished because we fucked up? I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. And apparently this is something that also happens in actual MMA fights. Like when there's decisions that seem to be super wrong in the eyes of the viewers. People are saying online that like Dana White's had to give like I don't know what they call them, like extra money bounties to losers who like probably shouldn't have lost, but they have to go with the decision that was called at the time. So I feel fine about it. And Andrea and Dina, we both talked to them before, and they seem to handle it pretty well. So all in all, happy with how it turned out.
Hear it for your winner by checkmate, Dina Bad Bishop Belenkaya.
And I love a bit of drama. The whole entire time I was in the meeting, every time there would be like, because it'd get a little tense and everyone would get a little stressed, it'd be like, And guys, fellas, by the way, I don't give a fuck if people are mad at us. It just means they're going to talk about our event more. This is good for us. And that's what I would keep leaning on. So no matter what decision we made, I was cool with, but I do think we picked the best decision overall. I think ignoring that we made the wrong call and pretending that we made the right call is dumb. I think reversing the decision and punishing Dina for our mistake is also dumb. And I think the people who are mad because it's a win-win participation trophy, whatever, don't really matter and help make the event more known.
The most lopsided prediction we've had tonight.
No Watch way. Myth's intro.
Crowd.
Yeah.
You fucked.
I got a crush on the girl from Queen's Gambit, so I've been watching it, but we're gonna win, yeah.
And this is a matchup that I have been looking forward to since we were able to sign on Cherdleys. Of course, as Myth alluded to, it was originally going to be Myth against Boy Boy, who unfortunately received an injury that stopped him from fighting today. And so we had a last-second Phil Cherdleys, who competed in an event last month. And now we're about to see these two fight.
So he's got some boxing experience. He's trained before. He is not to be underestimated. But Myth has been taking this so seriously. Yep. He looks cut. He looks ready. What an athlete. We're about to see both of these guys walk out. Should we kick it over to Germa?
Let's get it to Germa to get these two competitors in the ring and the fight underway.
Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the white corner at 5'11", 177 pounds, he is Myth.
It's Winter Vivaldi, one of the greatest songs ever written in the recorded humanities history.
And there he is, Mr. Myth himself, walking out to an epic song, doing his thing, hyping up the crowd.
He looks fucking big. 5'11", 100.
I'm scared and I'm a commentator.
So
I might jump the rope, bro.
I measured the reach of all the fighters prior to this match, and by far the most disproportionate was Myth. He has such a long wingspan for his height.
Now, Myth, a big boy indeed, and he was supposed to go up against another big boy, aka Boy Boy. And this is Boy Boy right here. This is I Did a Thing. You guys might know I Did a Thing because he was in Creator Clash and he beat Odds One out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
In a very quick round 1 30-second knockout.
Oh, James takes another one ahead. The referee is not letting it happen.
I remember this was so bad that in the moment you can literally see Alex punching and then looking over at the ref being like, come on, you got to call this.
Oh, James takes another one ahead. The referee is not letting it happen. Alex is frustrated with the referee.
He is frustrated because he doesn't want to go further with this, but he has to close the show. This is boxing. We have to leave it all in the ring. The referee is not going to step in until he sees what he needs to.
He's just going for it now.
He is tearing him apart right now. Again,
still arguing with the referee. Another big shot landed.
That just speaks to the character of
I'm actually shocked at how long the ref let this one go. This is crazy.
Alex, he does not want
on hindsight, this went on.
I mean, there's absolutely no defense right here from Odds One. Big another right hand landed. That's it, folks. And that's all. Wow. Alex.
So then they make the call there. That was obviously Alex. And this is him here. And he was sparring and training with Boy Boy. And this is what happened in the sparring session. By the way, headgear on. A spar-ending punch from Alex with a fucking godlike slip. Boy Boy just going for like a really simple, I don't know, jab, maybe 1-2, I don't know. And then Alex just slips it and then just fucking overhands the shit out of him. It sounds crazy. It sounds like a cartoon. It sounds like a Foley artist is making the noise. Ever since that punch, Boy Boy had a concussion. And he thought the concussion would go away, even flew to the United States with the concussion. But when he landed, you know, because concussions aren't helped by general things that give you headaches, like flying across the country, not sleeping well, not drinking or eating enough. He arrived and he told me he wouldn't be able to fight, which was 10 days before the event. And the only person who I was able to contact and get to do the event in that time
And he's gonna have to reach
was his opponent.
It's me. Here I am.
And his opponent, fighting out of the black corner at 165 pounds, standing at 5'9". Cherdleys!
That's right, your ears don't deceive you. This is the Eye of the Tiger being subbed by Cherdleys with a shitty karaoke adaptation so we could get through the copyright system that YouTube has.
By the way, I didn't realize while this was happening, she came out with a possum. Because in the interview before, he held a dog, and they were like, what is that? And he's like, I don't know, a possum.
With a shitty karaoke adaptation so
Where do they find a possum?
we could get through the copyright system that YouTube has. What's going on over there? Is he a king costume?
Is that a beer?
He said at first he was going to shotgun a beer before going out, so I'm glad he just took a sip and threw it. Anyway, the poll was that 80% of people thought Myth would win. And that's because how goofy Cherdleys was and how badass Myth looked. People thought it was just a lopsided matchup that would end in an instant KO. And also because Cherdleys has fought before, but the fight did not go so well. That was the fight in the UK against Jay Swingler, and he was the main title, the main card.
Those gloves up, Cherdleys.
And it didn't go so well. And that was his only other professional fight. So everybody thought going in that Cherdleys would just get his shit pushed in. And I gotta say, he actually was quite the fighter. Like, the chess was a meme. We could ignore it. It was literally not even worth watching. They have a collective rating of 350 points after getting punched in the face. I honestly think they would have been better off playing for each other. They probably would have done more damage overall. Like, I think we would have had a higher ELO chess match if they made the moves for each other, trying still for them to win.
Really putting a lot of thought into this first move, taking a pawn.
And Cherdleys was stalling in time the entire time. Like, he would take literally seconds, minutes to move. And he would also cheat blatantly. Now, we didn't count it as cheating, but he would point to a piece, and then if the crowd cheered a lot, he would move that piece. He did that a lot, which I thought was interesting, but I don't think it can count as cheating. They just weren't good enough for it to count as cheating.
Oh, Paul and Floyd Mayweather play chess because one of them could not read. Yeah. You're this is allowed to do it.
Have
Game title.
Ooh, wing jab, win seconds out.
But the fighting was kind of hype.
The boxing round. Here we go. Ding, ding.
For everything they lacked in the chess, I'm hoping we see them make up for it in the boxing.
Ooh, wing jab, landed for both.
Yeah, and very competent.
Ow, landed for Cherdleys, another body shot. Cleaner shots coming from this. So.
That was right on the button.
And this is an even fight.
This is so far very, very.
This 80% expectation.
I actually didn't notice the skeleton gloves either, sir.
To win, I think, came from how he looked in the boxing, but Cherdleys showing that.
He hurt him again. Cherdleys has skills. Tricky jabs. Another right hook to the body. That's Cherdleys' go-to. He's landed 3 hooks.
Oh, massive overhand right.
Overhand right. Landing on the temple of Myth.
Myth good. I like that head movement. I like the footwork.
50 seconds left. This might be the highest level boxing match we've seen tonight.
Absolutely. Yeah, both these competitors are doing really well. It's
Why was this card not considered the main card? Originally, when it was Myth in Boy Boy, I thought about making it the main card, but I was concerned that with these 2 last-second fills, they would be too bad at chess, that having the main card be people who were so bad at chess would kind of defeat the purpose of chess boxing. And on hindsight, I think I was completely right, and that it was a good call. I think, like, although it was the best fighting, I don't think, like, the main event should have, like, the mockery of the chess portion like this one did. And, I don't even care. Like, I actually thought it was kind of funny. And to be honest, like, there's 8 total chess games. Like, it's fine to have one that's a joke, but you don't want it to be the main event.
Equally scored so far. Myth with a quick cross to the body. Not doing much damage, but scoring a point. And there's a response there. Body shot by Cherdleys.
There's still so much time in the round. 40 seconds.
Yeah, just over half.
Oh!
Tanks a few headshots to get a body shot.
Myth is nodding at him.
Sizing each other up, keeping each other's distance. Waiting for a move to counter. Another right hook lands to the body for Cherdleys, and then trading jabs.
Right, the way they're trading jabs might be a double KO.
Yeah. Oh, well, what an end with that would be. And but Cherdleys coming.
Dude, it's crazy how many hits Myth hits here, and Cherdleys doesn't even like seem phased. Like that's just a clean 3 hit, and then another hit, and then another hit,
coming right back at him.
And he doesn't stop at all, like at all. It's insane to me. He took like 5 big hits. And then hit him. Crazy.
Hands down, missing shots.
Oh, Myth got him cornered. You got 5 seconds here.
5 seconds to make some moves. Otherwise, it goes back to the chest.
Seconds out and time. Wow. Back to the chessboard.
Chess was a bit of a meme. The chess ends. Next round of fighting.
Side rhythm to help you.
Nice straight wet to get it.
Boxing has begun.
We got to get up on our feet for this.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. This has been my favorite fight. Myth slipping. We saw shades of Ali, the way he was taunting, hands down.
In that corner, yeah, looking like Ali, missing shots, getting just out of range, coming back with shots of his own. A shot to the body landed for Cherdleys.
Not looking like Ali because he has the same skill level, but because he did the one thing that Ali is known for in that one gift that everybody knows.
Good connection.
Oh, nice jab.
Myth,
right over the guard of Cherdleys.
The uppercut.
Now, I'm excited to see the damage done. Because here's the thing.
Tense moment.
Nice counter, another flurry. Off balance.
So much
Myth.
Myth just did a
Oh, look at the feet. Look at the feet.
He's shuffled.
He's cooking.
Big right hand lands above the temple of Cherdleys. Might be a little stunned. Guard is high.
Myth goes southpaw here.
Right hook lands to the body for Cherdleys. Not out yet.
Still 45 seconds left. Half the time done. Ali a bit of showboating. That's, of course, Myth's first name, but he needs to connect to make some real damage. He wants to win this round decisively.
Coming up on 30 seconds left. That flurry from Myth, the most action that we saw. A few more shots landed for Myth so far.
Big right hand from Myth.
Jesus.
Counter jab, right hook to the body lands again. That is money for Cherdleys so far.
Yeah, Cherdleys has been working that body.
Myth after said he didn't even know what the Ali shuffle was. It's kind of hype.
Good connections. 20 seconds remain. Way to dodge the swing there.
The reincarnation.
Getting the distancing, getting just out of range of that.
That was so sick. Look how cocky they're getting.
Way to dodge the
Cherdleys
swing there.
chirps them. Look at them chirping each other.
Range of that right hook to the body that Cherdleys been going to pretty much every exchange.
They're both taunting each other, but we haven't seen a lot of action this round.
The ref cuts in. He's like, yo, this is a fight, by the way. Like, I actually love what you guys are doing, but you do need to fight each other.
Compared to the first round, they're very
10
slow.
seconds left. Action for the end of the round. Let's see it.
Cherdleys going for a grapple. Ref broke it
Seconds
up.
left.
2, 1, and time. End of the boxing round. We're back.
You could tell they were so into the actual
Flurry
fighting.
punches.
Good connections there to the
Two
face.
good lefts land right there.
But Cherdleys seems like
They were so into the fighting that Myth, I think, easily could have won the chess portion here. Cherdleys only had 1:39 on the clock. He played very slow. Myth intentionally tanked almost all of the time this round so that it guaranteed them a third round of fighting.
Myth is
face right now.
catch up. But
yeah, I
still,
got
like,
stressed out for a moment.
Myth is stalling now.
Hey, during this cutscene, I can let you guys know that you can go to chess.com. This being an actual chess game, this is just 4 minutes.
I thought that was fucking hype. Being that into the fight that you want to lose the other half of it just so you can keep going is pretty fucking badass.
Of rest. They're going to come with full energy. Let's Cherdleys.
Yo, let's get on our feet. Let's make some noise for the final boxing round between Myth and Cherdleys. Come on.
And here we go.
Clearly our most competent fighter.
Crowd was loud for this one.
Starts out by Germa. Big overhand over the top.
Put everything into that overhand.
There's a different energy level to the beginning of this round. I think we're going to see a lot more action. Clean jab lands for Cherdleys down the middle.
You don't get an
right hand over the top.
Oh, last chance to prove what you're made of in the ring.
This is why you sign up to box.
70 seconds remaining.
I'm impressed with Cherdleys' ability to find shots down the middle. He is finding gaps in Myth's armor that I don't know if...
Yeah, the chess is a cutscene.
It's a very tense moment here between the fighters. And they don't seem tired at all.
1-1-2 lands for Myth. Answering back.
Crowd cheering for Myth. 51 seconds. Oh!
Great shot by Myth to find a different angle for his left hook.
Excellent head movement from Cherdleys to avoid all those punches.
Half the time has been melted away. It's their time now to prove themselves in the ring.
Great roll.
Okay, I kept saying stuff like that because I feel like the fighters don't know how much time's left when they're in there because they're so focused.
Under the left hook of Myth for Cherdleys.
Let's see what they got. This is the last boxing round. 30 seconds left between these two titans, these warriors.
It all comes down to this. Let's make some noise for the end of this round.
Oh! Ooh. Big connect.
Almost a knockdown.
Seeing some action to finish this one out.
20 seconds.
Myth goes southpaw looking for the right jab.
In real boxing, they don't hear the commentators, which was actually shocking to me. Because when I originally conceived the event, I was like, yeah, of course I want everybody who's watching in the audience, because there's like, you know, almost 10,000 people there, to hear the commentators to understand what's going on. And then the guys were like, okay, sure. And then the day of the fight, I was like, if we were at like a UFC event, would they hear the commentators? Like, do they hear, you know, any of the people talking? And they're like, no. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. Usually you just watch it. And I was like, oh. So I didn't realize, like, this is weird as a fighter to be able to hear the people commentating. Now, I imagine the fighters were so focused that nothing, because like they also get yelled at by their coach. So I don't think they're strangers to being yelled at during a fight. Like, it doesn't actually matter. And they had noise-canceling stuff when they were actually doing the chess. But I did think that was kind of interesting. And I think it's just a better experience for the crowd. I know not every section of the crowd could hear it, but like to be able to hear any of the commentary, I think helps give context.
Jab, left cross.
Are we going to see a risk? Are we going to see a big shot? Are we going to see a risk?
10 seconds left. Let's hear some noise for these two fighters.
Let's go, the 10 seconds remaining.
Big shots landed.
Oh! Huge left hand from Myth.
Final three.
Oh! Whoa!
What a round. Oh my gosh, let's hear for these two warriors.
On hindsight, I feel like Cherdleys might have won the third round.
Going back to their corners. Gloves coming off. We're going the distance in this one.
Yep. We are going the distance, and I gotta say, the boxing was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally underestimated Cherdleys. His ability to use head movement.
Yep. I think he lost first two, but I think he hit a bunch.
Hooks and overhand quick. Great footwork. We're about to see some
Starforge replays here. A couple of connects. Nice jabs from Myth.
Cherdleys working that body, man.
Not a single knockdown or a single count from the refs.
Absolutely.
But these guys are so technical and so good defensively, right, Matt?
Yeah, defending the shots that come in, responding with ones of their own. Big overhand right there seen by Cherdleys.
And they can take punches.
If you had to make a call, who do you think was winning in the 3 boxing rounds we saw?
I think the cleaner shots were landed by Myth. I think the more powerful shots were landed by Cherdleys. It was a dead even first 2 rounds. I think it really came down to that last round.
They're trying to hype up the crowd. They put on a great show.
Yeah, and then we go back to the cutscene where Cherdleys' time runs out, and then Myth is a winner.
They thought this is going to be a clean TKO. No, he had great shots. He had an iron jaw.
Which leads us to our final fight of the night, which was honestly, I think, the best fight of the night, maybe with the exception of Dina and Andrea, but disguised Toph versus PointCrow. This shit was crazy. And I think it was for sure the main event because nobody got more people hype and on their feet than when Toph walked out.
At your phone, scan the QR code. Think Point.
Okay.
If you.
Big pop.
Oh, let me do the walkout.
So one of the main card because of the
Toast.
Toph, one of the first fighters.
More than Myth. It was loud as fuck for Toph.
Eventually made the main card because of the fan favorites and also the work he's put in. 3 to 4 days a week for a few months now, walking out to one of the greatest songs from Millie the Pichu, Last Cup of Coffee. I don't know if it's for him or for PointCrow.
Banger. And this one I had no clue how it was going to go.
Line up very close. Not a lot of edge to be gained there.
Absolutely about the same height, just a slight advantage to PointCrow. About the, well, a
little bit of
big weight advantage for Eric.
So Eric,
what was your guys' predictions? Chat, you guys made predictions. You thought the winner would be... Did we not do a poll for this one? PointCrow was favored 61%. Yeah, okay, I see.
had to go down. He was originally 160. Toast came up. We've talked about how it's harder to come up, but also when you go down, maybe you have a little less energy. You know, you lose a little bit of your power. The reach is similar.
The only reason I was unsure, so Toast, I think, trained some of the longest. Like, of every fighter, I messaged Toast the most to make sure that he was keeping up with fighting, because I know it was so outside of his comfort zone. So I think about like every 2 weeks, I would like send him a message, and like sometimes he'd answer, sometimes he wouldn't. I'd bump him and I'd be like, "Yo, you fighting? You training? How's training going?" Because I was pretty confident, and like some of the other people, but like, you know, I'd feel bad if anyone went into the ring without any training, unless they somehow like lied to me and then got $20,000 out of it, in which case, easy scam. In Toast, during the training, went to Japan. And in the interview, he was talking about it, and he was like, Japan made Toast a different man. There was a lot of introspection that I think he did when he was in Japan. There's a lot of like just general reevaluation, I guess you could say. And when he was in an interview talking about it, he was like, oh, I'm a pacifist now. I'm a pacifist. And I was like, well, you are about to enter a chess boxing fight. I don't really think you can be a full pacifist. But I do think that he, you know, look, there's certain times in your life where you try to zoom out, you see the forest for the trees. And so I think he was so zen. It was so hard for me to get a read on him, both in terms of how confident he felt, how excited he was for it, how nervous he was for it. I think it was just like hard to read him. I don't know if anyone else felt like that.
But the fact is, they're also even rated in chess, about 600 for each, and that's where we're going to start. We got 7 total
pacifist
rounds tonight. The first round's chess, second round's boxing, and then it alternates until we have a winner by checkmate, knockout, TKO, timeout in chess. Let's jump into it. Levy, what are you seeing on the board here? We're about to jump in.
Now they jump into the chess game. The chess game immediately starts with PointCrow as the white pieces, Toast as the black pieces, and it goes very, very, very well for PointCrow in the first 2 minutes.
Right now,
mostly
unless Toast defends himself, and he's not. He's invited the knight.
Because the knight finds a fork defended by the bishop that guarantees a rook capture.
Fork on the board here.
And the queen can't capture it because otherwise the queen would get captured by this bishop here. So pretty bad start in the first 2 minutes for Toast, who I think was not really doing a lot of chess training, but you know, probably hoping to keep up in the chess aspect.
Obviously the worst of two points.
So he has to move his king, knight. The computer is sitting there going, he's really losing. Yeah, he should end it right now. But his king's in the center of the board. He should not be the aggressor.
But
he should not be doing that.
And although the time is almost even, you can see 6.4. There's a huge advantage for Toast or PointCrow here. He has a +4 advantage because he has 2 pawns and a rook, and Toast only has 1 knight. So pretty bad first 2 minutes from Toast, and then the fight starts.
A lot of people lead. And we are jumping into it.
Oh, and it's worth noting right before this fight starts, PointCrow, the day before the fight, was like very adamant. He's like, I need a cup. I need a cup. And we're all like, yeah, that's fine. You can wear a cup. And he's like, I gots to have a cup. And I'm like, okay, let's just make sure Toast also has a cup, because every competitor, no matter what equipment they have, their opponent needs to have the same equipment. So if one has headgear, the other needs headgear. If one has a cup, the other needs a cup, etc. And we're always going to go with the most safe option.
Hop in the corners.
I'll stand up.
Let's get on your feet for the final round of the night. The final match
There's the bell. First round underway. Oh. And fireworks already. Exchanging jabs. Cross over the top. Cross to the body. Cross back up top. Oh. And Eric.
PointCrow all over
way
him.
More shots.
Oh. He just
and separation. Let's see if we get a.
Now, I think a fair standing count by the ref. Initially, a lot of the fights had somebody come out the gate swinging, and it seems like people are not prepared for that. It's how Amman won against Trent. It's how Hugs won against Toph. And that immediate exertion of power can be really hard to come over. And so within 15 seconds, there's already a standing count. Good call.
Stoppage, we do. The count begins. Toph will have 8 seconds to pull himself back together in order to continue.
Now, we talked about it earlier. You get 3 stoppages per round. Otherwise, it's a TKO. You get 4 stoppages per set.
That's right. Fight. That's 1 for PointCrow.
And
love Toast's gloves, by the way.
Toast is trying to implement something his coach.
And that was our first one there.
Set.
That's right. That's 1.
So you see PointCrow.
And
he's going for a couple jabs. He gets low, and you can see his right hand connect right there, right into the crotch of Toast. And you can see just the way that he buckles. That is exactly how you buckle when you get punched in the nuts.
Trying to implement something his coach told him.
A low blow. PointCrow a little below the belt on that.
We got a nut shot.
No standing counts during a nut shot. Low blows are illegal. There's nothing wrong with falling to the ground after getting hit in the nuts. That's what you're supposed to do. But he did have a cup on.
Oh my gosh.
Toast will have it.
Look at PointCrow. Look at PointCrow here. He goes.
Shot.
Oh my gosh.
What are you practicing the nut shot again? Are you practicing over there? I think I was blocking it. Hold on, let me show you one more time.
Belt on that.
We got a
look at him. Look at him.
Oh my gosh.
Toast will have as much time as he needs.
Hit him the old nuts.
To pull himself together and be ready.
Yeah, we just took a replay. The crowd.
The double nut shot.
That might have been 2 low blows. The first didn't find its mark. The second did.
Crowd is upset at that. They're booing PointCrow.
I fully believe it was an accident. I bet his coach told him before hopping into the ring, hey, he's not going to be protecting his body. You can get a lot of good body shots. Aim for, like, you know, the liver, the rib, whatever the fucking thing you're supposed to hit on the body is. And so he's probably trying to go here, but I don't think he counted or accounted for him also leaning low during the fight and, like, getting really down. Because, like, when you're doing this motion, but you're also leaning down, you're going to hit the nut. So I think if he was standing height, it would have been fine. But I think it was, and that's why he's looking back at his coach. That's why he's a bit confused, a bit, you know, maybe embarrassed, whatever.
Toast gets as much time as he needs. Toast waving
it
off.
And Toast is like, no, you're fine, bro. You're fine. I know it wasn't intentional. I know it was intentional.
I will say, I believe these 2 competitors are wearing cups, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so safety gear is being worn, both helmet left.
There, don't worry about it, guys.
All right, we're back into it. One warning for PointCrow, that low blow, and 1 stoppage to PointCrow for earlier.
PointCrow getting close, trying to throw some jabs in a grapple situation. These guys are just throwing punches.
A little bit low again.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I think Toast, how he played out of the corner here was so sick.
All right, we're back into it.
Because PointCrow immediately goes for the same thing he did earlier, which is immediate, like, power over aggression, overexert, you know, like overwhelm your opponent. But Toast dodged them all, had a really good hit, and it kind of threw PointCrow off, and then he fought out of the corner, which I thought was sick.
PointCrow getting close, trying to throw some jabs in a grapple situation. These guys are just throwing punches.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
In the clinch, both have one hand posted up on their opponent, the other hand.
I think the ref talking to PointCrow here being like, hey, you got to stop punching in the clinch because they keep getting really close, and then PointCrow's doing some of these. You're not allowed to, like, hit behind. There's a couple things that I think, and it just is inexperience. Like, I don't think it's PointCrow doing something shameless. I think he just has never been in a fight. You know, like, I don't think if I was in the spot, I would be doing much better. But I think the ref's like, hey, that's not chill.
And going wild.
It looks like a God of War Ragnarok cutscene.
Fight.
Still a few seconds in this round. I'm not exactly sure, maybe 10, maybe 20.
PointCrow finding his entry in.
Toast was good, bro. He was slipping.
With Toast back up against.
Is that the bell?
Yeah, Toast swinging his way out. Not the bell yet. The ref's
30 seconds left in the round.
A lot of time. We got to grapple.
Ah, there we go.
And there's the time.
Time a little bit wrong there on the screen.
I think the time was wrong on the screen because they paused the time during the nut shot, but it wasn't communicated to the bell that they paused it. I don't know if you're supposed to, but
it was a minute 30.
Honestly, a very short round because of the nut shot, and both people walk away pretty unscathed, although clearly very quickly adapting to what it's like to be in a fight.
The stoppage for the below the belt hit, and again
on the. What do you see in this position?
Should you click the gear in the
Yeah. He's forgetting the queen can take.
And this was the most fucked spot. This spot was bad. This is Toast in the black pieces, you know, barely, you know, keeping himself alive. PointCrow up 7 pieces now. He has a rook, a knight, and 2 pawns, a rook and 2 pawn advantage.
Right. So when you were in with the knight, or you can capture the knight. Those are the 2 options.
Oh, don't take it. Oh, that's. Oh, thank God.
Can't capture it here because the bishop's defending.
That was a tricky trap.
Yeah, the
Toast
bishop is
keenly
here.
aware. When somebody makes a move that dumb, it's not dumb.
You know what's a great move
Or
right now?
the Cherdleys.
Bringing your queen right here to then dart into the black position. It could end right now. And I'm looking, and PointCrow has played that move. Ladies and gentlemen, that's checkmate. So right now, Toast has 1 minute to figure this out, really.
Yeah. And maybe he plays it a bit slower. Maybe he plays it a bit slower. He's got a lot of time on the clock. He makes a move. He's reaching for it.
No, I don't think he sees the mate, but that's a very tough mate because you got to realize the knight guards the queen and the knight is guarded by the bishop, and he's blundered it.
Ooh, checkmate if PointCrow finds it.
Wait
a minute.
Oh.
Cherdleys!
One square away.
Wait. He actually hasn't taken his hand off the queen.
This is like how I play
This is legal. You can hold it there, and he's hit the clock. It's now a legal move. It's not mate.
Dude, that's how I used to play with my uncle. I'd just hold it there for an hour because he'd yell at me if I looked over.
It's like slow rolling. It's like in poker. You play. Oh, they make a move, right? So you could see.
It's stressing me out.
Now Toast only has 1 legal move. He might actually think he's checkmated.
And that's B7. B7 is the escape square.
And he can play it slow enough that he's guaranteed another boxing round, which I think what he'd want to do here if he's aware of the total time. 8 seconds, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're getting another boxing round, ladies and gentlemen. Who's excited?
So intense. The chess ends with PointCrow so impressively up, literally 2 moves away from checkmating. All right, I think all he has to do, I mean, if I'm right about the move here, is check the king, maybe like on C6 is fine, probably. Because you go C6, king's only escape square would be A7, and then you just capture the pawn on A6, checkmate. That's all you have to do. It's a very simple thing. But before he does that, and this is the beauty of chess boxing, is he has to fight for 90 seconds. So he might forget a few things along the way. Let's just take a look.
All right, 1 series with the jab. They're finding each other's range, finding the distance, getting in tight. No clean shots landed yet for either.
PointCrow taking a lot of
There's
space.
a good jab for Toast. An occidental head clash. Didn't seem to do any damage.
Moving the head enough to dodge these blows. Ref breaking it up.
Toast does got some abs on him.
Minute 10.
I'm not throwing a wall on Cherdleys. Wait, I saw Cherdleys. What did Cherdleys say? Oh, Cherdleys donated $10 to Super Chat and said, hey Cherdleys.
Back inside. Oh, a great slip and counter from Toast.
Oh, and Toast on the attack.
Great combo.
Back inside. Oh, a great slip
Big right.
and counter
Big
from
right.
Toast.
Big right.
Toast on the attack.
And now 2 more shots later for Toast. Definitely the advantage so far to Toast.
Toast looking good. PointCrow reaching for a hug. The crowd's getting excited by this. Still 50 seconds on the clock.
Should have been 2 minutes of boxing. I disagree. I firmly disagree. I think the amount of boxing was good. It was a very small amount of boxing. Like, I think any amateur, professional, or even influencer boxing match usually is like at least 6, if not 10 minutes of boxing. This was 4 minutes and 30 seconds of boxing, which is pretty short, but I don't know. Again, my main 2 goals were that nobody gets hurt and that everybody has a good time. And I feel like 10 minutes of boxing or 8 minutes of boxing would have been brutal. Maybe you could argue that 2 minutes per round would be better, but I don't think with the lead time that people had, I would have done that. I'm happy with the amount of time. I'm happy with how it went. The only thing, I would only ever increase it if they had a guaranteed longer amount of time to train.
Over half the time.
There were literally 3 round 1 TKOs. You know what I mean? 3. So, like, and we saw after a minute, everyone was exhausted. Like, the last 30 seconds was not the most beautiful boxing in the world. So another 30 seconds after the ugly 30 seconds, I don't know how well that'd go.
Time remaining. Great hits from PointCrow.
Yeah, but Toe's doing a great job getting out of the way. Toast is not taking a huge amount of damage here.
I wouldn't fuck with this ref. This ref is
Pushing him
intimidating.
up against the ring, but not up against the rope, but not a clear shot landed.
Yeah, and Toast's corner has been begging for a slip uppercut, and he's landed it once or twice. Yeah. But it doesn't look like at the moment he's going to be able to get any uppercuts.
Yeah, you can mid-set coach. This is coach quick.
It's a ref telling him you can't hit behind the head because a lot of the time they're in a clinch. They're just like swinging the hand.
Legendary coach.
Oh! Damn! Damn!
PointCrow.
Damn!
Shot for
What a
shot,
fucking
still 20
shot!
seconds. These guys are hitting each other hard.
What a shot! I forgot about that shot.
Let's see what they do.
Final seconds, seeing some action.
10 seconds, let's get loud for them.
2 right hooks to the body, 1 right up top for PointCrow. Big shots in the clinch. Separation coming in, final seconds, and going. Ladies and gentlemen, there's the bell, back to chess.
They look exhausted.
Give it up for these 2 warriors.
Now, give it up because it should be over.
Here, Matt.
Yeah,
like these boxing moments should have been the last ones.
Irregular, you won't see that in high-level boxing, but it's working here. Neither fighter backing down. There's 2 shots upstairs for Toast. PointCrow doing a good job of getting inside of Toast's range, getting a few shots in, but Toast definitely stepping up this second boxing round.
Good dodges.
Who was leading that round?
Yeah, I think the first round goes to PointCrow. I think the second round goes to Toast. So it's dead even going into this third chess round where PointCrow does have the advantage.
Damn, Toast was
Yeah,
slipping.
that's a great point. Let's flip it over to you, Levy. The chess side of things, not so even.
No, definitely not so even. Obviously, we can't get into details until the players have on their noise-canceling headphones, but it's a very strong box with them. I'm
glad you're here. Subscribe because I'm damn near. Anyway.
When's the last time?
Now, their noise-canceling headphones are on. Levy, tell them the truth.
It's made. It's made literally by accident in many ways. If the queen comes here and here, or there and there, what I just drew on the big screen, PointCrow has it. But he might get a little, greedy. Might grab a pawn, which the queen can capture right now diagonally to the right side. That is a free pawn, and it is a check. The problem right now is Black's king is out and about with no defense. The queen is in the corner. It's a very bad situation for Toast, and instead of all that,
a defensive move, a castle.
And I think a mistake here from Toast.
So huge mistake. PointCrow takes 30 seconds to make this move. He ends up making a castle, which is generally a fine defensive move. However, his attack hinges on this bishop defending this knight. Without the bishop defending the knight, it no longer becomes a mate because you need this knight to be defended for this queen to get a check and a mate on a6 by going like c6, a6.
Instead of all,
and Toast was actually really sharp at immediately finding that that bishop.
A defensive move, a castle.
And I think a mistake here from Toast to play so quickly, understanding that there's a mate possibility.
I don't think he understands there's a mate possibility.
That was dumb of me. I was dumb.
Yeah, there's
I don't
a
know
move
if
here.
PointCrow does either though.
There's
take the knight, no, with the queen?
No, yes, exactly. Oh, but okay, so the reason that move is not good is because White still has that big attack potentially on the Black king.
But that is a fork.
That is a fork.
Both rooks being attacked by the knight.
This is a bit distracted right now. There is a big fight coming on the top left, and
Yes.
they're working on the bottom right, which is a nothing burger.
Yes, and now the knight can be captured because the bishop for White has been replaced by a pawn. It doesn't have the same abilities.
Capture the knight with the
Cherdleys,
king.
you need God.
Does he see that?
Cherdleys, if you want some help with chess, get yourself a fucking Bible. Start praying.
In his mind, he can't take it for so long.
Right. It becomes almost an immovable piece.
Oh, no. Oh, he's going forward, which is not horrible because White has to play the best move, which might not happen.
What's the best move, Levy?
It's queen up and try to dance your way out. I mean, this is looking very tough for White. There's a lot of ways to lose your queen. Here. Like, there's a lot of ways you can get closer with the queen, and it gets captured.
And that's one of them.
And that's the worst one. That is the worst move on the board.
King can capture queen. It's a free king capture queen.
Wait, Ludwig, it is forced. Black has no legal move except taking the queen.
Is that true? How is that possible? So the king can't go here, because the queen. Can't go here, can't go here. Can't go here because the queen. Can't go here because the bishop. So the only legal move, because the king is in check and the queen cannot be taken by any other piece, is king capture queen. That's crazy. That I think it has to be like Mojo top 10 worst chess moves all time.
And first,
Black has no legal move except
other
taking
than
the queen.
The queen, and Toph sees it. All right. He blunder. A queen blunder.
Wow.
And right at the end of the round.
Oh my God.
Toast actually played very well that round.
Oh my goodness.
And what a shock to the mental that must be. That's the final move that they both made before going into our third and final boxing round. Holy shit.
How did that just happen?
God, I love low-level chess. I fucking love it.
Yo, now
of this event,
And then the final boxing round. Dude, look at
make sure you sign up with Twitch if you want to see any of your other favorite creators who are already
PointCrow
creating
looks
content on Fansly.
monstrous.
Get on your feet, everybody.
on your feet, make some noise.
Final round of boxing in this event. It's Toast. It's PointCrow.
The double.
PointCrow has to knock him out.
Oh, no defense. All offense. Big hooks landing for both fighters.
There's only been one count. It was against Toast.
Andrew stepping in, separating and recontinuing the action.
Minute 10 on the clock.
He's got to go.
Oh,
wow. Body, a big shot up top for Toast.
And PointCrow has to prove
Good
something.
2 jabs for PointCrow.
That queen blunder is forcing this boxing round to be so important for PointCrow.
What do you say?
Forcing this boxing round to be so important.
Don't do that shit with the glove.
PointCrow has to prove
Good
something.
2 jabs for PointCrow.
Oh, when he reached over his neck.
Blunder is forcing this boxing round to be so important for PointCrow.
That's right, PointCrow. It's all coming down to this. He's got to do some damage.
I think this is probably the best performance of refs for the night.
Knock him out.
I think like he did the best overall.
Finding the distance. Toast gives one of his own.
All refs, you know, were good.
And separate.
Like I appreciated all of them.
We only got 40 seconds left. Halfway through the third boxing round. Oh, really nice. Step in.
He hurt him. He's definitely hurt him. There's
I see some blood.
Face.
There's blood after that shot.
He busted him open. 27 seconds.
Toast still slipping.
Got to make something happen. The chessboard's looking bad, so the brain's got to look good.
He's got to rely on that right hand. And
Toast grapple.
I might standing count there on Toast.
Hanging on for dear life. Time. We got blood on the nose.
They're taking a look at it. They're taking a look at it. Toast has to prove that he's able to keep fighting here. He's going to rally here. Pausing the clock. 13 seconds. Let's get loud, everybody.
It all comes down to this for PointCrow. 13 seconds.
10 seconds remaining.
Right hand lands for Toast. Up against the ropes. Another big shot lands for PointCrow.
5 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
2, 1.
And there
Wow.
in the round. Damage for
They're
both
so
players.
exhausted.
PointCrow bloodying the nose of Toast.
Holy
landing some big
shit.
shots. Toast landing
What a
some of
fucking
his own.
battle.
And here we go.
What a battle between these two,
most
man.
damaged we've seen someone be and continue to fight.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see how this goes in the final round of chess. Let's take a look at the Starforge system replays of that last boxing round. Round 1, you gave to PointCrow. Round 2, you said even, maybe Toast favored. Round 3, what's your call here, Matt?
Yeah, I think because of the damage done to Toast with the bloody nose and the busier fighter being PointCrow, I think he landed more punches. I think he eked out that third round, but it was close.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Boom, big shot. That's where he bloodied.
Levy, we don't want to talk.
And then the chess.
Beautiful right here. So emotional. I mean, putting yourself out there on the
Reigns on the board.
And for Toes, the taste of it's his queen. Because PointCrow might just stall and play quickly. He might be cerebral enough to that move one on the board. And he's ran his king, but queen can take the rook. It's very close to lost.
Toast is really good at playing the advantage.
And he does. Toast is just moments away from winning this bout.
Again, if a stalemate occurs, Matt, who will win in your
And the
mind?
queen can take that bishop, by the way.
That's
the
right.
queen can take everything.
It comes down to round 1 in boxing, which is scored based
Free
off
rook.
of significant strikes.
Yep. And he takes everything. He's taken everything.
Everyone's popping off, but I'm nervous. Because if he takes all the pieces, it increases the chances of stalemate. Stalemate only occurs if there's no legal move that PointCrow can make while he's not in check.
Do not repeat the position 3 times. Don't repeat 3 times.
I think like this rook lift was so smart. Like to not have like all of your pieces activated, recognize that your queen cannot by itself do a checkmate, and then immediately look and do a rook lift after 3 rounds of fighting, exhausted as fuck.
I believe the way it works for this is that it only counts if they both agree.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was smart as hell.
Applies for my games. King moves up a little bit, and I think there's mate. Oh my gosh, both. This is textbook.
Coming in with the big power.
Yeah.
It's mate. It's made in a few moves.
Let's see if he's able to find it.
He's going to walk his king to the edge of the board with the rook and the queen.
Yeah, rook b2.
All right, he does it with the queen.
Wait for it. Crowd's murmuring.
Mate in 1 on the board. There it is!
Toast! That's our first checkmate of the night. A fucking amazing main event.
I think if it was a stalemate, well, so if it was a stalemate, it would have been determined by boxing score, and I think boxing score would have been won by, I'm assuming it would have been won by PointCrow. I don't actually know the score. I just think PointCrow had the only knockdown, and so if you get a standing knockdown, it's like a 10-8 round. So, yeah, I'm assuming it would have been a PointCrow win if there was a stalemate.
So much love to these 2 fighters.
Can you get those scores? No, I thought about it, but I think it's kind of stupid because most people would kind of like tunnel vision on it. And at the end of the day, this is a chess boxing event. So like, it doesn't matter. You lost if you lost by checkmate. If you won the boxing but still lost by checkmate, like this is not the event for you. And there's other full like boxing events you can go to. But like, I don't think someone should take solace in that they, won the boxing. And I feel like that's what would happen.
PointCrow, give him some more love, everybody, as we kick it over to our ring announcer, Germa.
These 2 guys are
our
legends.
Special Cash App surprise.
Wow. That was a slobber knocker, as they say. Aggressive. Big brain.
Great fucking fight. And you know what? Here's the awkward thing. So this entire day, I had a secret event planned after every single fight. And the secret event was meant to be me in a slap boxing chess match against XQC. In the day of the fight, I drive over to XQC's house and I'm like, yada, yada, yada. And I go to pick him up and I walk in and I look around and I realize, oh shit, he's not answering the door. And I knock and I knock and I knock, and he's not answering the door. And I'm like, well, son of a bitch, I have to get back to the rehearsal. Well, he'll just probably answer one of my calls. That's at 11 a.m. A few hours go by. The event starts at around I would say 3:30 p.m. That's when we start getting to it. Still no answer. And I'm like, And that's when I look over at Connor and I'm like, my man, we might have to slap each other. Because he knew my plan the entire time. And I actually told him about it the last time that he was in the States. And he was like, hey, if you need somebody for slap boxing, I'll be your man. And this is before me and X ever did it. So me and X ever talked about it. So me and X were at a bar one time and we were drunk together. And I was like, I told him my idea. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good, dude. And we were at this bar slapping each other in the face, getting increasingly stronger to see if we would be a good pair. So it's just me and X in this bar just going, and he's like, and I'm like, hit me. And then he hits me and I'm like, harder. And he's like, and I'm like, great, my turn. And I'm like, and he's like, harder. And I'm like, and so we had practiced it, me and X. And so he was ready for it. He turns out he slept through the entirety of it, which makes sense for a man that stays awake 35 hours to sleep, 14 hours. But Connor, honestly, I'm glad it worked out the way it did because I think it was as perfect as I could have hoped for it to have been. So I'm honestly happy in a way that X didn't answer because of how cool the Connor slap fight turned out. But another thing that's kind of embarrassing. Okay, this is kind of embarrassing. So originally I did ask Charlie. Yeah, I know Charlie made a video about this. So Charlie made a video about this called I Almost Fought in This.
There's not many areas I'd consider myself an expert, but when it comes to slapping, I think I'm like a sage. I feel like the wisdom I have around slapping sports is nothing shy of top tier. I am the preeminent expert on slapping. And yesterday, Ludwig hosted a chess boxing event, which had a finale of chess slapping. Now, the sport's pretty self-explanatory. As advertised, you play a little chess, then you box against your opponent. So you play chess, then you stand up, beat ass, eat ass, sit back down, play some more chess. And the idea is, as you're getting absolutely walloped, taking all kinds of head injuries, riddled with CTE, brain turning to fucking mush, you're still supposed to sit down in a civilized game of chess and remember the perfect line for the Sicilian defense. It's a beautiful thing. I am a connoisseur on obscure sports that no one's ever heard of, so I was very familiar with chess boxing going into this. My hype was off the charts, and I think Ludwig did an amazing job. But he blew me away with something I've never seen before: chess slapping. Same fundamentals of chess boxing, but instead of boxing, you engage in a slapping competition. And he slapped Connor, Sea-Dog VA. I don't know if Ludwig wants me to reveal this information, but you know what? I'm going off book. I'm an animal that can't be tamed right now, so I'm gonna leak it. I was actually asked by Ludwig almost 8 months ago now if I'd be interested in having a slap fight with him for this very event. And you know what I said to him? I sat him down, I said, Ludwig, absolutely fucking not. You're out of your mind.
So about like, I think it was 7-8 months ago, I said, hey, what do you think about coming to LA to do a slap boxing fight against me? And he goes, let me practice and come back to you. He doesn't hit me back for 2 months. 2 months later, I'm like, hey, any update? And he goes, yeah, so I just tried to lightly slap myself and my head is ringing a little bit, so I think my body can't handle this. And I was like, no worries. And then like a couple days later, he messages me and he goes, anyway, I've been getting good at getting slapped in the face by a tortilla. So if you want to do that, we can do it with tortillas. And I was like, yeah, probably not the tortilla thing. I'm not so good with the tortillas. But I thought that was sweet. That was my original opponent. And he did a little bit of judging, I know, on our slap boxing.
I am a baby bitch when it comes to anything pain related. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I wouldn't engage in a combat sport with anyone over the age of 12. I would only feel confident slapping or fighting actual children because I wouldn't want to get hurt.
Oh,
and
I
I'm
should
confident that
pause to give you some context. So in this fight here, after Toast won over PointCrow, he had I think a really beautiful message that he shared in appreciation and love for his opponent.
Editors, Toast, I want to start with you. How do you feel, man? Talked about the emotions here.
A lot going on. Mostly the pain in my head. But huge thank you to my opponent, Eric. What a champion. What a fighter.
Humble in victory.
Okay. So my entire idea was that I had this surprise slap boxing event that I was going to bring out at the very end of this event, and it was going to shock everybody. And the way that I thought that I would transition into slap boxing was I was going to have the winner of this fight in their interview ask me, hey, why didn't you get hit? And I told this idea to PointCrow, and he's like, I love it. If I win, I'll 100% do it. And then I didn't see Toast for the rest of the day, and then the event started. So I was like, oh. And so when the fight ended, you're going to see me hold the microphone out for PointCrow for way longer than I should because I'm hoping he'll remember our conversation.
Eric, what do you have to say?
Dude, that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, and I would have never, ever done it with any other person except for Toast. Mad respect to that guy. He's a real one. Oh, my God.
So I had it rehearsed with Germa how it would work after it was thrown to him. But we needed somebody to do it very naturally, and I think it worked out really well.
That was great. That was great. Yeah.
You guys were fucking amazing. It was awesome to see you in the ring. I'm glad it wasn't me, but you guys did fucking amazing.
Yeah. You didn't. Why didn't you fight? This is your event. Why didn't you fight?
I know. I would, but I have a chest hole. Plus, I haven't trained boxing. I had to commentate. I'm tired.
Ludwig, hold on. Wait. Hold on a second right now. Just give me one moment, please. This is Mogul Chessboxing Championship.
Yeah, so what? Who gives a shit about the name? I made it up yesterday.
You don't think that Ludwig should probably fight tonight?
What?
Yeah!
No.
Hold on a minute. Do you think that Ludwig should fight in this ring right now?
Oh my God.
Hey,
Ludwig's squirming.
Hey, whoa, chill. Germa, hey, love that dollhouse thing you did. Could you shut the fuck up? I haven't trained boxing. I don't know how to fight.
Could I see a show of hands on who would like to fight him?
Are there any children in the crowd? Raise your hands.
You want to go? Do you want to go?
Well, I don't know how to box. They don't know how to box.
Oh, you don't have to box. You don't have to box at all. You can do something completely different.
Like what?
I don't know. You get a table in here and maybe get somebody to go on the other side of the table and do a little bit of a slap boxing.
Slap boxing? No.
A little whack.
Was Saikuno raising his hand to fight me?
Your hands. Are there any children in the crowd?
Does Saikuno have his hand up?
Are there any children?
What? Saikuno!
Somebody to go on a little whack.
I'm not Russian. I'm not built for that.
Just stay right here.
What is about to happen?
What?
Is
this really happening?
Is this really about to go down? Germa, pick me.
Germa, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. No, you guys don't want to fight me. You don't want to fight me. I'm very strong.
Hey!
I'm very strong.
I think I might have found somebody right over here.
What is that?
Sea Dog!
What?
Are you in? You in?
I think it's time to embarrass you in your own event.
Wow, big fighting words from Sea Dog and from the stands.
Is it because what I said about the World Cup? Is it because I shit in your toilet when you weren't there? What's Connor? We're friends.
And then I'll let Charlie take it away.
I would have very weak map light of their slapping match.
Takes it. Can he block?
No, you have to just tank the punch. Now, normally you.
Oh! It happened. Slap directly on the cheek. Second shot coming up. Ludwig winding up and
Such a bad slap. Such a bad slap.
I fucking missed, but next round you're fucked.
This is round one here, and it was immediately clear to my keen eye that these two have not trained in the art of slapping, at least not by a professional. Their technique is lacking, but I think Connor had the most natural aptitude for the sport.
What I didn't think about that we should have had is a microphone to pick up the slap noise. I didn't think about that at all.
So let's talk about Connor's slap first. He came in there with like an almost disciplinary slap, like he was trying to teach Ludwig a lesson. Now it's standard in the sport of slapping that you do a couple little like practice slaps. So you caress their face a little bit and then you count 1, 2, and then on 3 you slap. That's kind of the norm across all the slapping commissions, but here they don't do that. It's like practice swings in golf, but they've foregone the practice swings. They just go right into the action. So Connor gets him with almost like a surprise slap, and he comes in at a really interesting angle. So he gets him flush like this. So it's kind of like that, whereas normally a slap wants to go more horizontal. He comes in vertically. So he's French frying when typically you want a pizza. And it worked to a moderate degree of success here, kind of hit Ludwig with a bit of an unexpected zinger, because it got him more in like the eye region, like in the lower eye socket, as opposed to more the masseter, where you're normally trying to target. But overall, for his first slap in the professional scene, I think Connor made a statement with it.
I think, so the one thing about slap boxing is the way they do it is they do it like this. Like they almost judo chop. Like if you look at like the Russians who slap box, they're trying to knock each other the fuck out. And your arm is like a rod. You know, because it's just like a bone, and like there's obviously the wrist that detaches it, but like this together is just like a metal fucking rod, and it like rocks people. So like they cheat a little bit, and they do like a lot of palm, a lot of bone, and me and Connor, like, hey, we're not trying to fucking kill each other here. Let's try to make it full slap, like as palm as like, you know, as like a classic like that slap, not like a, you know, shaking the head slap.
Ludwig like kind of like breezed past him almost.
Okay, I didn't.
He got it with almost like a judo chop. No,
if I judo chopped him, he'd be dead. If I judo chopped, he'd be gone. You wouldn't hear from him. You wouldn't hear from him again.
There. And you can even hear him acknowledge it, saying that he missed, but next time he's fucked. So it's just one of those things that you don't realize how hard it is to hit that mark until you try.
True.
There we go.
Oh, Sea-Dog with the first slap again. One.
Oh, my
God.
Okay, that slap fucking hurt.
That one hurt. Really, and zeroing in on that.
This is a good one.
Boom.
That was the most artistic slap of the night.
Really, and zeroing in on that cheek. Boom.
When was the last God.
That was a beautiful dust of clouds.
All right.
Now, one very important thing to note here, I'm not the health and safety expert or an advisor to the Ludwig event, but one big oversight is they didn't put in any ear protection. Unironically, and this is just being completely genuine here, this isn't a joke, when it comes to slapping, if you get slapped in the ear, it can actually rupture your eardrum really easily. Like, it is shocking how easily that eardrum can rupture with just a slap. So it was actually kind of concerning when I saw them do this with no ear protection. Usually put like a little cotton swab in there or just something. But here there was nothing. They were just doing it raw. So
I didn't know that. We didn't really practice. The only thing someone told me is to grip both sides of the table and then keep your chin down. And that's all I did.
That's fucking extreme. Hats off to them for being so ballsy. I don't even know if they were aware of the risk they took there. But
no, we for sure knew. I thought it'd be more badass.
Yeah, anyway, just wanted to point that out. This round was really heavy for Connor. He gave him an actual booming slap, I thought. So he still has that interesting technique where he's going more vertical at like an angle, kind of like he's swatting a fly. And he puts his slap right on the numbers. His slap is actually more like a cat clawing at something. And he puts it right on Ludwig's button, and you can even see him like react kind of in a big way. And I don't think he was just like overacting or trying to sell it like the WWE. That kind of shit just really hurts.
Because the way he hit me is that he went way too deep, and so his fingers were like a whip that just got my neck, and the neck is more sensitive.
So you can see him like kind of recoil to the side and even start pushing on his neck a little bit because it's kind of a lot for your
Talk
neck.
about my slap. How's my slap?
For your neck to take that kind of load as well. So it was actually just a good slap from Connor in that round.
I couldn't handle his load.
Ludwig also had a better round here. He even did a little warm-up slap to get his aim right. And then he brought it straight through with a full follow-through.
Nice.
The way you're supposed to do it. But with Ludwig, it doesn't seem like he actually throws slaps with any velocity. He just kind of like goes straight through all in one constant speed. And that speed is like not fast. Of course, neither one of them's trying to hurt each other. But Connor actually seems to have like some vicious sass behind his slaps.
What do you mean it's not it's fast? It's speedy. It's speedy.
It's like, damn, that probably did hurt.
No, it was fast.
Ludwig's, I could see Connor being like, huh, that wasn't too bad.
Oh my God, what is
I don't know the rules.
You're going to see my next one. It's very fast.
Oh, all right. Ludwig did not want to get slapped right then.
I'm pretty sure you got
very fast
above the table.
Yeah, Sea-Dog warming up the hands.
Oh my gosh. Oh, big one.
I flinched.
Wow.
He also
I saw
missed.
the ripples on the other side of Ludwig's face.
Interestingly enough, that technique Connor was going to use at the start where he got kind of low, that's like the normal slapping technique. You want to be a lot more fluid, obviously, in the professional scene, so you usually get pretty low and bring it up. Here, it's obviously all above the table to not have like a catastrophic injury, obviously. But then Connor delivered a slap that was a little off the mark, kind of just like brushed off by Ludwig pretty easily. Kind of just like almost greases off of Ludwig's cheek and just clips his nose on the way by. So not the best slap from Connor here.
I mean, even if
good slap from Ludwig. Look at that spin.
All right, Ludwig warming up the hip rotation, warming up the shoulder rotation.
Okay, part of the problem, do you see how far forward I'm leaning? I couldn't get full power because I couldn't swing at a natural stance. I had to lean forward on the table because of how small my arms were and how far back Connor was.
He's getting ready.
Is he punching him? Ah, okay.
So like at my max extension, leaned forward,
It was barely like these, why don't you call these things that were touching him.
And there we go. It's coming. 1, 2, and
That's a good slap. That was a great slap.
That was definitely Ludwig's best slap of the match.
That was a great slap.
There we go. It's coming.
Look at the speed.
And
that's a great slap. Look at the schmear frames on my hand. It looks like an animation from Naruto. Look at that. You're going to tell me that was a bad slap? That's a great slap. Bang. Bang. Look at his face, bro. That was a great one. That was a great slap. Me, when I see you're not streaming a Very Mogul Christmas, my face. That's my face. My face when somebody's not subscribed to the channel. My face when I eat shit. When I'm eating shit and poop.
Oh my gosh. That was definitely Ludwig's best slap of the match so far.
It absolutely was his best slap of the match. That one had ill intent behind it. Lud actually delivered a pretty good slap there. Good
Damn right
power,
I did.
Good form. There was nothing playful about that.
That was better than Will Smith's.
That one was
100%
just kind of
better than Will Smith's.
mean-spirited. So at that point, Connor was like, I didn't like the way that one tasted, I imagine. Because you could even see like the chalk going into like this big fucking explosion off the other side of Connor's face. So actually just a good slap from Lud there.
Big wind-up coming.
Okay. Right before this slap, we were talking to each other. And I looked over at Connor because his last slap was bad. And I didn't want this to come across as if it was fake. Like, of course, we're not trying to kill each other. I think that goes without saying. But I also wanted it to be real. It's not WWE. I mean, WWE, honestly, they hurt each other too. But I wanted it to be, I think it's a good example, like, it feel real. And so I look up to Connor. I say, go as hard as you can. And he says, are you sure? And I was like, Connor, go as hard as you can. He's like, all right.
The anticipation is mounting.
Oh my God, he's so
that
far
hand
away.
Is
so
warming
far
up.
away.
He's getting a little run up, isn't he? Oh. Striking fear. Oh, he braced for it. That was a hard one. Oh, man. Sea-Dog, sorry.
Oh, my gosh.
That was so hard.
He fucked me up, dude. He fucked me up. Look at this.
Striking.
I pre-flinched like a little bit, but boom. Boom. Makes my hair look like you're spinning out a mop. Bang. Oh, fuck. Huge strike. You can even see Connor's face. He's immediately like, oh, that was too hard. Because it was fucking hard. And it was all palm, too. Like, you can see the connection was very deep. This is like his palm striking my face as opposed to, like, his hands and fingers slapping me. You can even hear it, yeah.
Striking fear. Oh, he braced for it. That was a hard one.
No, I asked him to.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
As a joke, after I took off my ring and I put it on my slapping finger.
Oh, shit. All right, let's hear a little noise for this final slap of the evening.
Look, so look, this is maximum reach, leaned up against the table. I barely am making contact with palm. I should have asked him to lean forward a bit.
Ready, steady.
That was a weak slap. That was a bad slap. I wish my last slap was harder.
Down and the stare down.
Wow.
Actually, a pretty strong final round from both. But Connor
My third slap was best.
came in there and delivered a package Ludwig didn't order. I
didn't order that package.
Actually, really did feel like it was a big one. Like Connor started to swing for the fences on that last round to try and seal the deal. And then Ludwig also threw a pretty decent slap.
That's a bruise.
But unfortunately, if you slow down the footage, you can see that he mainly fingers him. So he just gets him with the fingers.
I missed
because
he's so far
not
away.
Really like a full palm.
He was so
strike,
far
but
away.
even
I missed.
still, he came in there with decent velocity, and I think the fingers probably didn't feel that great running across the upper cheek of Connor. I won't spoil who the winner was, but I'll tell you it wasn't decided by slaps. It was decided on the chessboard in a fucking amazing finish. Like, that was an incredible finale, and overall the event was great. And I just wanted to talk about the slaps.
Replay of
We
that?
need a replay.
3,
2, 1.
Oh my gosh! And Ludwig Ludwig has lost it on time. Oh my! Do we have an instant replay of that?
We need a replay.
Ludwig loses on the game by like half a second.
Is it on Ludwig? No! No way. Wow. B-Dog takes the first ever.
Oh.
You choked so hard. Okay, I fucked up right here because right here,
like 5 seconds.
I had 5
seconds on the
seconds.
clock. 4, 3.
I made a move.
2.
And then I popped off out of the chair, but I didn't think he would make his move so fast. So then I went back down, and by the time I got down, I was too late to make my move, and this black rectangle popped up on the screen, and I lost.
Gosh, and Ludwig has lost it on time. Oh my, do we have an instant replay of that?
I thought I won because his clock also turned to 0.
3,
2, 1.
Like, his clock is literally at 0, 0, 0.
My gosh.
Oh, fuck. I fucking lost. You were up 30 seconds. I mean, I think I might have been able to win by flagging, but I think winning by flagging is really lame, and Connor had a better chess position. Like, he was winning on the chess board with a knight against me. So I feel good about it. I feel good about how things went. Honestly, I thought it was a fucking great finale. I ain't mad about it at all. It was a great finale.
And Ludwig has lost it on time.
Honestly, guys, I was throwing. I could have easily beat Connor both in chess and in slaps. Like, if you don't know, I'm pretty strong. So, like... Anyway, boys, that's the end of the stream today. I wanted to go over all the chess boxing things. I wanted to do a lot more too, but holy shit, it took a lot longer than I thought to go through all of that. Jesus Christ, took almost as long as the event, 3.5 hours in the books. So I got a dip, chat. I got somewhere to go tonight. Tomorrow, we will do the button and jet lag and Mr. Beast and unusual memes and react and react and react and react. But today, I got a dip. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you guys all had a good time. More desktop streams coming soon. A little bit of a weird week this week. So I'll be streaming early tomorrow. I'll be streaming early Saturday. Sunday is the Smash event. Monday, we'll see what the stream is or when it is. Be a bit sporadic. Been a hectic month, man. We've had the Chessboxing event. We had the stream with Connor in San Francisco. We have the Smash event coming up. A lot of things going on. Not to mention, we just did the box stream like not that long ago. So, you know, at some point I might take a few days off for the holidays. I don't know if I'll upload any videos or streams, but we still got a pretty strong week to close out. So we'll try to close out strong. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being a part of the most viewers I've ever had last Sunday. And see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. See you later, boys. Oh, I got to do Myth's Room, too. Oh, my God. There's so much shit I have to do. We'll figure it out. See you later, boys. Thanks for watching.